Rob?
Well, hello there.
How's it going?
I'm freshly showered and ready to go for the day. My coffee has been imbibed.
After a
I'm ready.
long night.
Dude, it was a good night. Fun night on the channel. Thanks to everybody who joined us for that. First of all, we had an epic, I've never been so excited to clip out part of Midnight Musings, but our conversation about hip hop that and Lael and I had, what a great conversation that was. I'm like, yeah, it's about time we got into some hardcore music convo.
Yeah.
And I learned a new term, papa ears.
Oh my gosh.
I hadn't heard that
That's
before.
a new one for me too.
I was like, okay.
I must have missed
now
that.
I learned.
I must have, because I was there when you were talking about music, but I must have, I was in the middle of cleaning up and taking a shower and stuff myself. So it was part of I wasn't paying as close attention. So a good idea that you're going to be clipping that out and sharing it.
Totally. So, I will.
I'm glad to have you here this morning, Rob, and glad to have everybody join us here. Hope you like the new little intro that we made for the show.
Slowly we're going towards our rebranding that begins April 1st. It's going to be fun. Awesome. A lot of good stuff. Every show is going to have more cohesion. The channel's going to have a different name. It's going to be lots of fun. I can't wait.
It's going to be cool. I'm really looking forward to it. And we've got about 17 folks joining us in the chat that are waiting to join us. So if you're ready, Rob, unless there's any other announcements or anything before we go, should we let our friends in?
Let everyone in. Come on in, everyone.
Here we go.
You're welcome to be here.
And there we go.
I love that. It's the cascade of people.
The cascading effect of everybody joining us here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
I see some new names.
To the members watching on YouTube, Rob shares the link in the members-only kind of section of the Burnettwork channel on YouTube. So you should have the link there. So you can join us, and then as you roll in here, you can use the raise your hand feature, which is located. Let me see if I can show it on screen here. Down here under reactions is where you would find it doesn't show up on screen because I've got my overlay on, but it's towards the bottom of the screen and it says reactions, and you'll be able to raise your hand there. And then you'll get about 7 minutes with Rob.
7 minutes in heaven
instead of 7 minutes in heaven. Let me go ahead and change us back to speaker view so we can. There we go. And let me pin you, Rob, so that you are front and center. Give me a sec here while I find you. There you go. Okay, so. People are chiming in. People are popping in.
Mr. Thigpen is here. We can hear you.
That is good.
Oh, okay.
That is good.
I think I forgot to mute everybody on. So let me do this. I'm gonna go ahead and reset the muting. Oh, I did have mute up all upon entry. That's what it is. Okay, great.
But he's special.
SA is
so
good.
You didn't mute him.
SA is good. So then let me go ahead and add you, SA, so we can have you both. There we go. Welcome, SA.
Hi. So as you see, book of the week here.
How is that?
The latest. I guess that's not your pseudonym, is it, Roberto?
No. Oh,
it is my last name. It's unfortunately Daniel Suarez is much better known than I am.
So yeah, I saw the interview actually on This Week in Tech has This Week in Space. This Week in Tech is Leo Laporte of G4 Fame's podcast or YouTube show, which I have yet to see Attack of the Doc. I still really want to see it. So yeah.
Is that Chris Gore's documentary?
Yes, that's.
Is it done?
Apparently there was a screening for it the other month.
Oh, I know Arun's going to do a watch party for it. I'm dying to see it. I know Chris has been working on that for a long time.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of famous people and all sorts of interesting stuff, I'm sure. So yeah. I mean, I love Leo's show, though. I always loved it. Kevin Rose, interesting character as well. I don't know why it went off the air, but they have a great YouTube show. Maybe YouTube ultimately will be bigger. So, yeah. And this week in space, they had a book on Daniel Suarez's book, a Delta V. It's pretty well known. I have not touched it, but yeah, I started listening to the interview and I was like, all right, I've got to get this and get through it automatically because it's kind of becoming the latest iteration of Beam It Down, which is
right.
solar power, which is what the whole thing is about. And now that's kind of catching fire. I know they had like a little, with the popular press, they had a thing on Bezos's Blue Origin now claiming they can make solar panels from lunar regolith, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey man, bring it on.
Yeah, critical mass refers to the amount of junk in space actually that is productive and putting together these huge space solar power rigs. I guess our governor, Jerry Brown, during his first iteration in the late 70s, kind of got the label Governor Moonbeam for popularizing the concept and all the negative connotations that came with that. But yeah, the whole play or moral of the book is unlimited solar energy, which, yeah, I mean, you could get enough to suck all the carbon out of the atmosphere and hold up space dock if you ultimately had enough mirrors in geosynchronous orbit. So it was compelling just because of that theme and the Gerard O'Neill stuff, which was, that sort of same late 70s era.
Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam, the Gerard O'Neill space stations.
Yes.
Babylon 5 too is a sort of an example of that.
Yeah, there's the wagon wheel.
Yeah.
And then there was all of the spheres. Lately on YouTube, there's stuff popping up noting that asteroids are just rubbles of rock stuck together. They don't have any real core. They're just giant mushes of things stuck together. So all you need to do is get an arm and you can literally scoop the stuff out of them.
Oh yeah.
There's the metal. There are metal ones which are like, have unlimited gold.
Yeah. I mean, and we're going to get there.
Incredible.
We won't see it in our lifetime, but we're going to, well, at least my lifetime, but we're going to get there.
Well, yeah, that's when you get back to the whole critical mass and the politics of Earth. I know the last discussion I was going on, and as far as my litmus test for science fiction, is this science fiction novel ready for the 21st century? Sort of a play on popular culture and contemporary.
Have you guys seen? Have you seen I saw it drop this week. No one is talking about this.
Yeah,
there's an Apple TV series called Extrapolations.
I have not heard of that one.
No one has. And when you look at the cast, Meryl Streep is in it, and it's an It's kind of like the writer who did. I don't want to say Doctor Who. He did the show that was set in England that went over the next 50 years. It was called Last Year. Some HBO put it on, and it was an extrapolation for the next 40 years, and it was through the eyes of one family.
Okay, there were quite a few of those, but there were some Australian versions too.
Yeah, this one was. But this extrapolation show looks like it goes up to 2070, and it deals with everything from climate change. It's incredible. It looks incredible. And the cast is amazing. And I'm like, where did this even come from?
So it's like an EnviroDoc kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's funny because the environment, I read a Norman Spinrad novel. Norman Spinrad wrote the Star Trek episode, The Doomsday Machine, but he's also a great science fiction novelist. He wrote a novel, I want to say I read 30 years ago, called Greenhouse Summer. That was set in Paris was now a tropical city, and global warming had totally changed the climate. And it's funny because, people have been talking about global warming for a long time and warning about it. But there's something called the Venus condition, like the planet Venus, that they don't talk about very much. But we're definitely heading in that direction. And it might take 30 or 40 or 50 years longer than people have said. But we're getting there.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of critical mass, or I know critical path, which was, I guess, the era before all of the space colonization stuff became in vogue in the 70s. There was the Buckminster Fuller stuff where, just talking about, it was more about, ethically and political alignment and cultural and social critical mass, so to speak, of
Right.
all right, when is the public and enough people going to become in tune with the potential of space-based resources, and or just the spaceship Earth idea and that whole phenomenon. The engineering feat is definitely achievable. That's the most compelling thing about the book, is he's putting billionaires and other questionable countries all together, and space is still the domain of con men and strong men, but within that environment, how can you engineer space resources? So yeah, I think the trilogy, and it's definitely catching fire. The ideas of space-based solar power, they're definitely catching fire. It's definitely possible. So yeah, I definitely give the book thumbs up. I would recommend reading it. Delta V, which was the first one, I did not read, but that equally sounds interesting. And that goes to the whole Delta V idea of once you get out of the gravity well of the Earth system, or, edge off to the Earth Moon system, you can, it doesn't really cost much for fuel to go to the asteroids versus doing stuff on the moon.
That's
So
why
it's-
we could
it's
launch
cheap.
we got the James Webb telescope where it was going.
Yeah. There are different takes on the different telescopes and how they perform.
Right.
There's another one that's going up that's a lot better. And I remember reading, about all of the terrestrial planet finders and the gravity wave finders and all these cool out there constellations. But I have yet to see some of that. But yeah, definitely, it's improving. It's coming along. So yeah. I guess my time's up.
Time's up,
yeah,
SA.
definitely more to
It's
say.
great. It's great to see you, though. Thank
Well, it's
you
good to
so
see you,
much.
sir. Thanks for being a member, of course.
And Rob, the show you were trying to remember is called Years and Years.
Yeah, that's what it's called. What's scary about that show is already so much of it's come true.
Mm-hmm.
The early 2020s stuff. I mean, it's, if you're really paying attention and you read certain people to extrapolate on where we're going, it's certainly headed in that a direction that's very you could plot it.
Yeah.
All
right, we got Checkers here, and welcome. Should be.
I didn't realize you were Checkers the inventor.
Yeah, he's Checkers the inventor.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's my channel name, so on here I usually go by Joey Hamilton, but then sometimes I post a follow-up super chat and you have no idea it's me, so I just figured I'm just going to go by that name.
No.
Not like a weird way. I'm not like the artist formerly known as Joey Hamilton, but just for logistical reasons. By the way,
how's your town? Has your town settled down? Have they dealt with the defeat?
I didn't want to give the impression that like Buffalo is literally this desolate area, and if the Bills lose, that we're just miserable for the next.
I don't know why I thought that.
I might have gone a little too far in a few places, but no, we're fine.
Okay, that's good.
I wish the Chiefs didn't win though. That was unfortunate. So, but hey, great stream last night.
Oh, that was fun. I mean, I didn't expect it to going from hip hop to then Taylor and King Tannic.
Yeah, Taylor Gonzalez is awesome. That was so entertaining. I was doing some work and then, I kind of pulled an all-nighter and it was just sort of on in the background. But
he's the best.
Yeah, give me an idea. Like you're doing all these new shows. You should do a show, and maybe it would have like a rotating cast. But you talked about how like you have a lot of older viewers, and I think you're getting some younger viewers now. Like I would consider Taylor a younger. Yeah,
Taylor's 30 and King Tannic's 20.
Yeah. You should do a show where you have like an older member of the Post Geek Singularity and then a younger member, and they talk about their experience with a big film like Star Wars, where you can talk about it like when it came out, what it was like.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
And you've got, I remember I was on once with Mikey,
Yeah.
he's older, and he kind of reminded me of you in the way that he could eloquently talk about things that came out years ago and what it was like. And I think it's interesting to hear the younger viewer talk about their perspectives, because it's so different, and they don't have that. They can't relate to that exact feeling of what it was like, when Jaws came out.
I think we're seeing that now with the reaction to Star Trek Picard. I'm season 3. There is definitely a schism between older viewers and younger viewers, and it's only going to get more as the show goes on, because it really is about. I mean, Star Trek. What's really interesting about what's happened to Star Trek, at least in the era that most people like myself grew up in, is that the characters were allowed to age, and going into middle age became, like with Star Trek 2, beginning with Star Trek the Motion Picture, but then with Star Trek 2 The Wrath of Khan, the idea of moving into middle age was incorporated into the characters, all the way up to Star Trek 6, where Spock asks Kirk, are we so old and basically intractable in our thinking that we've outlived our usefulness? And that is a huge part of Star Trek Picard season 3 as it unfolds. What the older generation owes to the younger generation, if anything, and how the characters. And I think it's hard because people haven't seen the story unfold yet, but I'm definitely seeing the difference between older viewers and younger viewers and what people are looking for. And that's because media has changed, and I as I've said, video games are more important, and narrative. Younger viewers have not read nearly as many books unless they're, Harry Potter, and they haven't seen older programming. So there's just things that it's just a different way of looking at things. And it is, I think that would be a great idea. That's why I love watching reaction videos. Young people watching things for the first time. I love it, because especially like music reaction videos, like you'll watch like hip hop artists watching prog rock, like they'll watch a song about Yes, or they'll react to a Yes, like Close to the Edge or Roundabout or something, and they'll freak out because there is less musicianship these days than there used to be. Like when we were growing up, it was the guitar gods, and it was people knew the names of drummers and guitarists, not just lead singers.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with my dad. We were watching the Beatles documentary together, and we were talking about like the music of that era and the technicality of all the how much more sophisticated the guitaring was, and like the layers of the music compositions. So yeah, and you had a great conversation yesterday about that. But and then in this long form style where you could have two people talk, because I think for a while, even on like the John Campea show, when he would make fun of the prequels, and for a while, like the entire culture kind of looked at the prequels as these terrible movies that came out. And I'm not saying that they're great movies, but I'm just saying it's interesting to see the younger viewers talk about them now that they're older. They can talk about how they were films that they loved growing up, and now that they're in their 20s and 30s, it's just kind of a cool clash to see the older people who were so disappointed with them talk with people who grew up with them.
Yeah, and I think that's something that everyone has to remember. That's why I say pop culture has a half-life of 20 years. I mean, each new generation has their own pop culture, and the people that grew up, I grew up with the good stuff. I mean, I do think that the problem out now with a lot of pop culture is, and I think a lot of YouTubers that are particularly negative are railing against the corporate ownership, and they're not wrong. The fact is, we used to get stories that were products of individuals, and now we're getting stories that are products of corporations that hire individuals.
Yeah.
And so we're not getting the visions that we used to get. And it's just a different way of doing things. So, but Lucas's prequel trilogy, whether you like it or not, is a product of him. It's uncut, undistilled George Lucas.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much of him, even.
I think so.
But
very much
certainly you can't deny that it's a unique vision, and one man's, the way one man sees it. It wasn't like.
Yep.
All right. Well, good talk here. I think I'm running out of time. So.
Well, it's good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. Checkers.
Good to see
I
you,
like
Checkers.
it. Now I know it's you.
Yeah.
I love it.
See you next time. And let me go ahead and remove the pin. And we got a couple of super chats here, Rob.
We do.
From Alon Abadi, our resident.
Wait, he's right there. We got a
AI
super chat from
artist.
Alon, and he's in the stream.
And he's in the
That's
stream.
that's the kind of business I want to run. You're in the stream. You're already a member of the channel, and you're sending super chats.
I know.
That's amazing. Thank you
Awesome.
for that, sir.
It's 15.
What is the super chat?
It says, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the imagination connoisseurs.
I like that. We got to use that. We'll put that in the branding of the channel.
And then
That's great.
we have a new member. Reciende76 is a new member. So welcome. Oh no, Racende76 or Racende. So welcome to Racende.
Welcome. You know what I really like too is that when people are super chatting, YouTube has added a new feature that says they know if somebody has first super chatted to your channel.
Yeah.
And it pops up. I love that. And then, calling people out and saying, thanks.
It's like a little badge for the donor too, which is fun. So, all right, we got Chris coming up next. Let me unmute you there, Chris. You should be able to unmute, and I'll add you in a second here. Welcome, Chris.
Hello. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, you sound great. You sound good.
Okay, good. Well,
all right.
How are you doing today, Rob?
Doing well. Doing well.
did.
Very chipper to face today.
Good. Yeah, I caught some of the stream this morning on the VOD while I was at the gym. Taylor's a great new addition to the team. He's just phenomenal.
Well, it's interesting because I met Taylor was going to come work on Designing Hollywood. So I met him through Martika Ibarra, and then we couldn't bring him on full time. And then Martika suggested him to John Campia, and he came on as John's assistant, but he quickly learned he's producing shows and behind the scenes. He's it's good. He's really, he's great. I love Taylor. He's the best.
Yeah, I think the community generally feels the same way. I don't think there's a single person who's been upset by his addition to the team. I think everybody universally is like, he literally slipped in like a glove. Like he showed up and it almost was like he should have been there the whole time. Like it was just like he was perfect.
And he also loves all this stuff. And he's the one that he sees more movies than any of us. I mean, and also he's what's called he does this thing. He's signed up to be a seat warmer. So at premieres and events, they need people. If celebrities don't show up, say like the premiere of Quantum Mania or something, he'll show up. And if he shows up at a certain time early enough on, they'll let him in as a person to fill up the empty seats at premiere. So he does that as well. And so he's seeing a lot of things. The other night, I mean, he loves horror, and he's been talking about Blood and Honey.
Oh yeah, I know.
Winnie the Pooh.
He convinced me to go see it.
He went to this event. They had an event downtown, and he goes and he met the whole crew, and they knew who he was because people watch the Campia show.
Dude, and people do. Like it's really crazy because when you see like the number like 300,000, like compared to some people who have like millions or whatever, it's like you don't really think about it. But then when you think about how big realistically like the super into movie community, like the movie and TV stuff is, like that's a large portion of that community.
Well, a lot of people, as I keep hearing, a lot of industry professionals watch our show because it's structured.
I bet
it's structured, and we're covering all kinds of topics. We cover the business of Hollywood, and there's a lot of I'm constantly hearing from people in the industry that watch the John Campia show.
Not for nothing, but as somebody who is trying to figure out how to get in from where they're at, like it's super helpful. Like all your guys' the stuff, everything you guys say, all the stuff you guys do, like it's super helpful for everybody. Like people trust trying to get in. Like it's crazy. Like you guys do a lot of stuff. A lot more.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's and also because like I work in the industry, and I'm constantly. We've got a movie coming up that is called The White Devils that I'll be able to talk about more later. And then we have an animated series that we've been developing. It's here that'll be part of this channel. That's been really interesting. And so there's a lot of forward momentum on that. And then, I'm going to grow this channel, and I really want to turn it into a network where we have
Yeah.
different people, different creators, different shows. And starting April 1st, we're going to start putting out a weekly, it might be daily, but a weekly newsletter, a schedule that'll explain who's doing what when.
That's gonna be so good.
We'll have and we're going to create branding, so the channel will have a certain look with lower thirds and things like that. And because why not?
Yeah. No.
I mean, it's oh, by the way, can I just say, I'll even say it here. I should probably wait and announce. I'll announce this tomorrow because not everybody watches. I got a confirmation email from Kino Lorber yesterday. I reached out to my boy Matt at Kino Lorber. I go, bro, come on, man, give me an official confirmation. I've seen it elsewhere. When do I get to Live and Die in LA in 4K? When do I get it? May 30th. May 30th to Live and Die in LA. Official release. Yes.
Oh,
that is
okay.
official.
That's tight. That's gonna be awesome.
When I open up tomorrow when I open up physical media, the beginning of the show, we're gonna have a. And by the way, I'm gonna bother William Friedkin on Twitter. My goal would be to get William Friedkin to come on the show. I want to get more people to come on the show. I want to get Brian Bosworth and Craig Baxley to promote Stone Cold. That would be a coup, and I want to get William Friedkin at least for like 5 minutes.
I honestly, you probably can't.
Well, he's directing his new movie about the Kane Mutiny, and but for 5 minutes because he knows, because he's on Twitter, and we've had a few exchanges over the years. He hasn't been on Twitter in a while, but he knows that I'm a fanatical to Live and Die in LA.
That's okay. So before I go, Rob, I do have 2 questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. I want to know how. Okay, is there like a link or something to where we can send you stuff, like a PO box or whatever?
There is one in Iowa, but I'm going to open one here because it takes too long. But I will have that out soon because I want to send you my comic for sure. But well, we'll promote it.
Oh, that would be cool. Thank you. But yeah, I just want to send it to you. You've been a big inspiration over the years. So
thank you. That's another thing I want to do is I want to do, whether it's weekly or monthly, a show that promotes what imagination connoisseurs are making. And I want to call it the Shill Show.
Oh,
where all we do is shill other people's stuff, like books, maybe a certain writer in New Zealand, the Shill Show. And we'll have, and that's what it'll be. It'll be people come on, and I will be shilling your stuff or whatever.
So you already do so much. That's amazing.
I just think it'd be hilarious to have the Shill Show.
Well, it'd be funny, but also helpful at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm going to use the picture that Terry Metalis, when we were at the premiere of Star Trek Picard, we're taking a picture and he goes, wait. And he pulled out his billfold and he had hundies in there, and he pulls out this wad of cash. And I'm like, this is hilarious, dude. And I'm like smiling as he's handing me over money. And of course, there's a lot of people that like jumped all over me. Yeah. You see people like, well, we'll see where Burnett's career goes. Like, Terry's not even working on Star Trek. He's working for Disney right now.
The last thing before I go is, are you still doing the connoisseur short story thing?
Yes.
Are we still doing that? Okay.
Yes, that is happening. And I'm probably going to launch it now, push it back to March. We already have.
No, that's awesome.
I think we have 10 entries from a year ago or 2 years ago when we first announced it. Those are all in play. And then, and the goal is, I'm going to hit this goal. We're going to have the book out you'll be able to get, there's going to be 3 different versions of the book: a digital version, a soft cover version, and the deluxe hardcover slipcase version.
But we can still send in entries, right?
Yeah. We haven't even officially started. There was also, because there's legal ramifications about how like we would own the stories for like 2 years. And then because if you publish a book, you have to have some kind of, and the whole point is we're going to send that book around to the industry. I mean, I don't know what people are going to write. Maybe somebody will bite on it, and we'll have a co-production deal. So the whole point is that hopefully we're going to turn some stories in the book. The stories will be good enough, or they might be essays or whatever, into a show. Like, we'll actually turn it into maybe a 10-episode series if there's enough good stories. That would be the goal. Would be to have user-generated material that then we would turn into stuff, and the people who wrote the stories would write the screenplays. We'd go make them. That's the ultimate goal, because why not? I mean, if you look like somebody like Eric July, who created the Ripaverse. I mean, Eric July was really interesting. I was on a stream with him on Critical Drinkers channel a couple weeks ago, and I asked him a few questions, and he said that he put up, over 100 grand of his own money. He printed his comics beforehand, 96 pages, and I've self-published comics before, so I know how expensive it can be, because you have to pay the writer per page, the artists per page and stuff, and it gets expensive. And he didn't do his crowdfunding campaign until he had his books finished and ready to go, and that was really smart. But he had the money to do it because of his YouTube channel. We're not that big yet, but that would be the goal, to self-fund everything and get users, the imagination connoisseur community, to make stuff, that we put out there. I mean, all the film festival movies are still on the channel. Yeah, and some of those have gone on to bigger festivals and won awards.
An anthology series about the Imagination Connoisseurs Anthology series.
That's what it is. Totally.
Thank you, Chris, for joining us. By the way, a quick reminder, Rob. Speaking of Imagination Connoisseurs, I sent out these stickers for folks who wanted to order one. There's a form, and I'm putting it on the chat. I know some of you here have received yours in the mail already, but if anybody still wants some, I've got a bunch left. So fill out that form, and I'll be happy to send you an Imagination Connoisseur sticker.
Keep your postal receipts, and you'll get reimbursed for sending them out.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we've got our AI artist in residence joining us now, all the way from Israel. It's Alon.
Israel. Yerushalayim Shalom. Let's go.
Shalom. How's it going?
What do you got? You got any more crazy AI work for us?
No, I didn't actually prepare anything for today. I just came back from the Ant-Man Quantumania screening.
What'd you think?
I did not like it, unfortunately. But no, I really also I wasn't in the previous community chat. I had some stuff I had to do. So I wanted to talk about Flash. What an amazing trailer that was.
Yeah, it's funny because people have been talking about how great that movie is for a year.
I know.
And then James Gunn came out and said it's one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen. And, that's all hyperbole or whatever. But seeing that trailer, man, I'm
I'm stoked. And honestly, I don't think the next Shazam movie is going to be that good. I'm gonna watch it, obviously, as soon as I can. But I'm really stoked, really excited for the Flash. And speaking of James Gunn, I'm currently in the middle of reading The Toy Collector.
Oh, and you got the hardcover.
I got the hardcover.
That's in great condition.
It's actually the only one I was able to find. I was hunting for this
so
book
for those
for
of you wondering what that is, Elon that's the novel that James Gunn wrote, The Toy Collector. He wrote it, I want to say 20 years ago.
Probably. You can see you can see his face over here. He's so young.
Well, I was a producer on a movie that he wrote and starred in called The Specials, that's about the world's 8th greatest superhero team, and Craig Mazin, the creator of The Last of Us, directed it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
it's
awesome
really low budget. Oh my god, it's incredible. I'm
really in a good time in my life, and I'm getting all of the things I ever wanted are simply coming to me on a plate.
No, it's great. I mean, look, it shows what happens when you have good people working on, the fact that they have Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin teaming up. I think The Last of Us is a great example of adaptation.
Yeah,
how to adapt everything in my mind that they've done, like how they've added to the cordyceps lore. How you hit a vine and a mile away, you might a nest of
that's
cordyceps.
A great addition, by the way. I'm sure that this will factor in the next games. I'm sure, because it's so goddamn, what's the word? Intuitive. Yeah. I would say it makes sense.
And making
just
Sam
like the flower, just like the flower in episode 1 or episode 2, that's the way that things spread in the first place.
oh yeah, and also making Sam deaf, in episode 5, that was an incredible addition that from a narrative standpoint created an immediate bond. I mean, they really are on it.
Yeah,
it's really
totally.
well done.
I wrote, when the show just started, I wrote my entire life I thought I was Bill, but I think I'm more of a Frank guy.
I love that.
I've come to terms with it.
I love that. What an amazing episode that was.
It was.
And that episode worked on so many levels because it really served to show the end of civilization. I mean, a lot of people focus on the fact that it was a romance, but it really showed how they tried to keep civilization alive, and ultimately they failed. And it really, again, if you think about the title of the game and the show, The Last of Us, they might have been the last couple in the world, the last couple that tried to create a home and hearth and family. And
they succeeded, though.
They did up to a point. I mean, but yeah, they did succeed, because when we all die out, that part of that brand of humanity will be gone.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that last shot pulling in from the window, man, that killed me.
I kind of wanted them for them to shift the camera.
I know, but you can't. I mean, if they did that, it would have it was such a poignant moment, because going from the beginning where Bill was just looking, he's in his basement, just looking out at the world through these cameras, and he ended his life with the window open, looking out onto the world from above.
I don't want to spoil the show too much for those who still haven't watched
I know.
But I would say it's a great watch, and if you haven't started it, go ahead. What are you doing?
I agree.
What are you doing with your life
now in Israel? Do you get it? Do you watch it with a VPN, or do you get it when it's broadcast? Do you have HBO Max?
I do not have. We all do not have HBO Max yet.
Right.
HBO, come on. But we do have it through syndication, through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get it legally.
I do. I mean, my parents do, and when I come to visit them, there's an hour when I'm not available.
Do your parents watch it with you?
No. I don't think that they both are not really into this kind of stuff. But I enjoyed it. I enjoy it every time. Also, we got an episode early, which does not happen often.
That happened last week because of a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and what a Super Bowl it was.
Yeah, what a game.
Well, I haven't watched the game, but I watched everything else.
Oh, the commercials. That too.
Yes. I think that's mostly it. Unfortunately, I don't have much to add on to. Maybe I can plug your stuff. Wait a second.
That's okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot and make you feel bad.
Go watch Tango Shalom.
Wow, you've got I'm so proud. Thank
I told you about it.
Yeah.
I told you I watched it through DVD. Unfortunately, we also do not have anywhere else to watch.
It's supposed to come out in Israel. I think we sold the rights. It's going to come out in theaters, I think.
Well, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, because it's coming out in Germany. It's at the Berlin Jewish Film Festival in June, and then it's supposed to open around the country. So, yeah, I mean, I want an excuse to go back to Israel. I haven't been back to Israel since 2005, and man, did I had the best time in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. And I got my brand new passport, my super sophisticated IDU 4 ways till Sunday passport. So I'm ready to go, man. I'm locked and loaded.
Thank you, Arlon. So good to see you. Rob.
Oh no, here it comes. Pedro's gonna let me have it with both barrels.
Hold on, we got a super chat that I want to make sure we cover it before I forget, from Jeff Yerke, $9.99. Hey Rob, so excited about your new programming. There are so many of the Burnett Army reporting for duty. LLAP, the Yerkman and Mrs. Y.
I love that. One day we're gonna, Mrs. Y is the great mystery woman for the channel, because we've been hearing about her, but we've never actually seen her.
She's like Norm's wife in Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. Or she could be, because Jeff Yerke seems like a very cheerful guy, but he lives up in Northern California. Who knows? Maybe Mrs. Y is actually like Norman Bates's mother in Psycho.
That would be
that
would be a great story for the.
But see, the thing is, I want to believe that they've got like one of the great love affairs of all time. And but who knows? It could take a sinister twist.
Well, let's see. Maybe I want to see what.
That's the imagination connoisseur in me.
See what's
because
Let's see.
Come on, Jeff.
Yeah,
Send us a picture of Mrs. Yerke. Send us a selfie of you two smiling. Why haven't we seen Mrs. Yerke yet?
That's right.
Dun 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 dun.
All right. Sinister twist coming in here from Pedro Ferreira. Welcome, Pedro.
Do your worst, buddy. Lay it on me.
What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. What you've been saying on Twitter? No, you can say what you want. I'm just kidding.
I've just been complaining. I've just been complaining. I haven't I never really thought you were a show or anything. So
I know, but about Star Trek Picard in general. But say what you want.
I've been.
Don't worry, it's going to win you over. You'll see.
I've been kind of I'm not feeling that great at the moment because I was I had to have a hospital appointment a couple of days ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay now?
And I had to basically fast, so I'm still feeling kind of exhausted and tired a few days afterwards. And I went to a careers fair, London film and television careers fair in London today, and that was I had to pull myself just to get there and just try to go to it, and it's like standing up and walking around is like just exhausting for me. But I did it, and I got some opportunities. I didn't get like a job or anything, but I got some opportunities, and so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. They had production companies there. They had a lot of acting agencies there.
Yeah.
Spotlight and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all right. But yeah, there were a few that weren't interested in helping me, but for the most part, it was okay. I sent it in my CVs, or as you call them in America, resumes. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. It's all about chasing up people and signing up for sort of mentoring and stuff like that. So
yeah, well, that's good. That's good that you're going out there and going to things like that.
Yeah, it's something I had to do. I booked this I think end of last year. I booked this, so I decided to do it today. I decided to go today, and it wasn't. I couldn't give up my hospital appointment. I couldn't postpone that, so I just had to kind of go with it.
Are you okay though?
I feel really like exhausted, but like I say, it's just I just need to rest a lot. It normally they normally say the sedation sedative takes like one day to get over, but it's been more than a day. So I did this on Thursday, so I'm just like really exhausted still. So yeah, see how it goes.
Well, that's good.
So I've been doing much. I mean, like I say, I've been using social media a bit, and I've been seeing your tweets, but I haven't really been. I haven't been engaging with any other like drama that's been going on. So I haven't. I've been more or less just kind of lying down, resting. Really.
Well, that's good. Got to keep your health. That's what Hyman Roth says in Godfather 2. Your health is the most important thing.
Yeah. He was right. He was right.
He is right. He
Although
is absolutely right.
I tend to do the old. I thought I was almost out, but they pull me back in.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with drama. So I know that you've seen all of Picard season 3, and I've just been going by the reviews and stuff like that. I saw Dave Cullen's review.
Yep.
I saw some really hilarious trailer that someone put together for it. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was the Oral Knots did that. I love the Oral Knots. They're I love those guys so much.
I still don't know how they got the AI and some of those voices correct. That was great, but that was funny. But yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of disappointed. I think that certain things about it still haven't been addressed, or certain things about haven't been fixed. And according to what Dave Cullen says, those things won't be changed, at least this season. So yeah, it's a shame, really. But it would be good to at least get something that looks like the Orville again, where I can actually see what's going on. But
well, I mean, that's an aesthetic that, yeah, I just don't think we'll ever see that again, because even the Orville's aesthetic is based on the Next Generation, which a lot of people think looks like it was made in the 50s now. So
do you think so? I mean, there's a lot of
I
people
love the way the
love
Next
that.
Generation looks.
Yeah, I mean, I like that aesthetic, but I don't know, like I can't. This is why I don't like modern TV. I don't like constant like teal and underlit sets, and like I like to be able to see what I'm looking at, and also the whole story thing as well. It would be a good idea to have the whole of that era of Star Trek in a different universe, rather than keep it in the same universe with everything they've done previously. It's very difficult to detach what's happened with Picard so far with what's happened in previous seasons, and along with the rest of what Alex Kurtzman has done with that era of Star Trek.
I totally agree. I mean, but here's the thing. To me, it's like, as a canonista myself, I mean, which I am, it like with that's all true, but it's like we are still getting a story that should be enjoyed for its own sake, and to me, it's gotten to the point where the great crime of the Kurtzman era of Star Trek is none of it makes any sense. Star Trek Discovery is clearly not a prequel to the original series. Neither is Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
No.
None of it has any semblance of. And I'll tell you, there's something coming up. I want to say it's in episode 6 that, in a way, addresses it. It's just a simple thing. It's a very subtle thing, which is just a great fuck you to the modern era of Star Trek, because Terry is still working for those people, and to be fair, they let him do the show.
I mean, I think if Terry's doing a great job, I think they should keep him. I honestly feel they should keep him. I just feel that maybe if by any chance they do get a season 4 of Picard with all of the cast back again somehow, I think that they should try to address the way I saw it. The way I saw it was 2 things. What they should do is do a whole season looking at why the universe, make a big plot point about why the universe is out of sync with what's come before.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
What they should have done, 2 lines. It wouldn't cost any money, just 2 lines to address this, to say, well, due to that anomaly that happened, history has been rewritten, or due to that anomaly happening, it's created an entirely new universe where everything has been happening for blah, blah, or something.
Well,
like that.
I'll tell you, the Star Trek lit verse, because it was no longer in sync, none of what was going on. Picard seasons 1 and 2 also ruined 20 years of the Star Trek lit verse. And I was a huge fan of the books. That's all the books that are being published. And there was a 20-year ongoing continuity about the post-Dominion War universe. And because of that, they were going to cancel that entire continuity. And I understand their books and on the hierarchy of entertainment, they're way below the TV shows. But as a fan of those things, it was a blow because I really loved a lot of what they had done, a lot of what those authors had done, and they kept doing great stuff. So 3 authors pitched the idea of what they called, and they published 3 novels called Star Trek Coda, which is this gigantic, epic, sprawling story that is essentially the end of the Litverse. It was an apocalyptic story where the universes end. It was like Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it had to leave the real Star Trek universe in place. If I was like, I had a dream. There was a $2 billion lottery win, and I had a dream that, like, for some reason I had $8 billion. Like I bought crypto 20 years ago and I sold it at its height. And the dream I had was that I bought Star Trek. I went to Paramount and paid like $3 billion for the franchise. And the first thing I did in this dream, this is all I remember, was I hired the guys who wrote David Mack and James Swallow and to write their version of the same story, but with the Kurtzman universe. And it included the Kelvin universe and the Kurtzman universe, and it ended those things. And it put the universe back the way it was. That's all I remember about that dream.
Sounds like Star Trek Humpty Dumpty, putting it all back the way it was, right? Thank you so much to Pedro and Stubble. You should be able to unmute now. Welcome.
Well, I think I'm unmuted.
Yep.
Yeah.
What up, G?
Yeah, well, it's good. I have a bit of a cold.
Yeah, I can tell. We can hear it, but that's okay.
So, how are you? Are you doing
I'm good? Things are good. Yeah. All good.
Yeah. So you saw the latest MCU movie, I suppose?
Yeah.
I think I'll wait until it's available at home.
I just feel that, I feel ultimately they have become untethered. Here's my feeling about the where the MCU is now. The MCU used to work so well because it had reality to it. When the Avengers fought in Civil War, they're fighting in an airport in Germany. But now it's and I understand comic books are total epic fantasy, but the Ant-Man films were charming because they weren't dealing with these world-destroying stakes. And I feel that when I was watching Ant-Man, I felt like I was watching a movie that was kind of at war with itself. There's all this really cool, fun stuff in it, but I was like, this character doesn't belong here, even though the character does belong here because he can get into the quantum realm. But it was just a weird. It was weird. It was just I didn't love it. I feel it's too untethered, and they've been doing that with all of their movies in Phase 4 and now into Phase 5. And I maybe I think that the choice going into with this whole Kang and the Council of Kangs and everything they're going, the way that they're going, I don't know if it necessarily works in live action. Not as well as what was going on in Phase 1, 2, and Phases 1, 2, and 3.
I think they need to play around a bit with their formula. Do you think they could do a movie without a big boss fight at the end?
Well, I think that they can, depending on the story. But it I don't know. I mean, I think that they're kind of locked into a comic book story, but we shall see.
Because in WandaVision, the weakest part was the end, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
The boss fight was the weakest part.
Yes.
So I would like to see another type of story, but maybe that won't jive with the general comic book movie audience. I don't know.
Yep.
But I think they should experiment a bit.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, but I think also a big problem now is that everything is driven by IP rather than original ideas.
I agree, and great storytelling. I mean,
in the 70s there were no IPs, there were only original ideas, more or less. There were some books or something, but they were not the pop culture phenomenon in the same way. So now they are locked into the creativity isn't available to, you know, they can't unlock the creativity really. They are locked into the IP. And because all the big budget movies are IP movies, there are no 100 million plus movies. That's not an IP movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think here's the problem now. The reason, and we've talked about this a lot, you know, the thing about IPs, and it doesn't even matter. Hollywood now wants to make things that have existed in some other form, whether it's a comic, a novel, a game, something that's succeeded in another medium, because they can always point to that and go, see, there's already a bunch of people that love this. So if we translate it into a movie, it makes it easier for us to justify our existence because of how much money these things cost. And it's very funny to me because I'm like, well, where are we going to be in 20 years?
Yeah.
Are we going to still, where's the thing about Hollywood is what's so ironic is Star Wars was its own thing. It was brand new. Nobody wanted to make it except Alan Ladd Jr. at Fox. And nowadays the business of Hollywood is such that I wonder where the big swings people are going to take on original IPs. And the problem is there are less and less visionary people out there that have IPs or potential IPs to make. Even producers that are very successful are having really hard times getting something unique financed, because a lot of the people, and unfortunately people know less and less and less. People are a lot less well-read than they used to be. They don't know these things. They're not seeking them out. So there aren't a lot of visionary people that are able to greenlight projects that can go, I want to make this. I believe in this filmmaker. We're going to team up and make this, because it's so expensive to make these things.
Yeah.
So,
and I would like to see a comic book movie that's where it's not reliant on the superpowers. They may have superpowers, they may use superpowers, but they don't. It doesn't hang on that. It hangs on their personality or their problem-solving skills or whatever. But just to break up the pattern a little bit to something new. But that's me. Maybe people wouldn't like it. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Anyway, have you watched the Vox Machina yet?
I have not watched the second season yet. I just have not caught up with it, but everyone loves it. Is it better than the first season?
I think it's much better than the first season. And I would say if you watch the first episode, you're locked in.
Wow. Okay. Well, then I will definitely check it out. I just haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
So, but I like the first season quite a bit.
Yeah. If you like kaiju movies, you'll like the first episode.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. So, I got 40 seconds left. What should I talk about? Do you have a topic?
Well, what are you reading right now?
Oh, I just got the first in the Kickstarter.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta go see. I gotta go full frame on this one. Wow. Okay, so this is the first of Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter. He made $40 million on his Kickstarter. This is one of the books of 4 he wrote during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So what is your impression? How is it? Does it stand up? Is the binding good? Is it as good as the other books that he's printed?
I've just started it, so I've not gotten that far into it yet. He uses a different voice than what he normally uses. So I'm not 100% into it yet, but maybe I will. It's gotten very good reviews, so I hope it's good.
That's really cool that you supported that. And I love the fact that, I mean, he made that much money and got the book out and it's in your hands. Is it going to be over the course? Are you going to get all 4 of them this year?
Yeah, it's one every quarter.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then you could get a lot of swag extra, for just as much money as the book, but I just went with the book.
Right,
so
sure.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's very cool.
So, yeah. So And yeah, I hope it's good. We'll see.
Great to see you,
That's cool.
Stubble. Thanks for joining us.
Feel better, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, get well soon. Right, I think we have, do we have another super chat? No, we don't. I thought we had one, but we don't. So we've got next coming up, Esmel Taylor. Let me go ahead and add you here. And you should be able to unmute now.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you sound good. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Good. I had some say, you guys were talking about space earlier. I was able to, before the pandemic, I was able to go with one of my friends. He works at the Carnegie Institute. And so the scientists, they have parties up on Mount Wilson.
Right.
So I was able to go up there and look through the telescope.
Wow. Okay.
And it was really cool. But one of the things we looked at, the next day, my friend called me and he tells me, he goes, dude, he goes, you know how far that thing was that we saw last night? I go, no. He goes, that light predated Jesus.
Yep.
I just thought about that and I was like, that's ridiculous to think about. If you think about that, like how far that is for that light to have taken over 3,000 years to get here.
Well, I mean,
because that might not even exist anymore. But we just
that absolutely, we could be seeing things. I mean, when you start getting into cosmology and studying distance, there's a YouTube video. It's 30 minutes long, and it's the whole history of the universe, to the point where the universe won't exist anymore. And it goes, you can't even comprehend as you watch this how far into the future. But when it comes to light, and that's part of the course. I mean, 3,000 years, 4,000 years, there's light that we're looking at that's millions of years old.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to get their heads, or it's really difficult when you start studying cosmology. And think about it. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. So now imagine, calculate that 60 seconds. 186,000 miles. How far does light go in 60 seconds? Now compute that into a year. How many seconds are in a year? Then multiply that times 3,000. And that's the distances are they're so mind-shatteringly huge, the things. And when you really start thinking about how big the universe is, it's really difficult to even as I'm sitting here, as I'm thinking about it, it really brings all of my cognitive reasoning to a halt because it's so hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
Hey, Esmel, it sounds like you have a TV on in the background or something. We're just getting some feedback. If you don't mind. Thank you.
Let me cut that real quick.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
Is that better?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
There we go. I was watching my other YouTube show while I was waiting. I forgot to turn it off. Also, I think you said you had a SWAC prop sent you a copy of the Nine Gates, the book of the Nine Gates.
Yes, he did.
Okay, I had a question on that. Which copy did he send you?
He sent me I want to say he sent me the Lucifer version, but he included all of the different pages, the drawings.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering like which one did, like if he sent you the
oh yeah, no,
the one that he had, or the one of the two that he examined.
Yeah, he sent me the Lucifer version, and then he sent me all the different etchings from each book.
Oh, that's cool.
It's those books that he made they're the best. You know, it's funny. So for those of you who don't know, SWAC Props, S''WAK Props, a guy named Cal. He makes paper products from films, like exact duplicates of like the Misty Mountains map from Lord of the Rings, which is incredible. And you can use black light and read the runes. It's incredible. But I felt bad because somebody sent me a link to, there's a book they reference in Die Hard, Hostage, Terrorist, Hostage, a study in duality. And somebody sent me a link where you could buy a prop version of that book. And I'm like, I was gonna buy it, but I'm like, I can't buy a book that's not made by Swag Props. I can't buy it. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
What I like to see is if he would do the Book of Shadows from the original Charm.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, it's funny because he ended up making. We did when we were doing Whining About Movies, we talked about Donnie Darko, and we were like, would you do the book from Donnie Darko? And he did, and he sent Elizabeth his artist's proof of that prop book that he made from Donnie Darko, the time travel.
That's cool. That's cool.
That guy's the best.
Yeah,
he's incredibly talented. Anything you buy from him it's amazing. The work is incredible. I mean, his work is incredible. A lot of people sell those things on Etsy, but his stuff is insane. He made me the lament configuration, like from Hellraiser.
Yeah.
These schematics of it. It's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, I was wondering. I wanted to get something just to support him, but I was just debating on what.
Because I've got his Rorschach diary from Watchmen. That's really cool. He made me, I think my favorite thing though, I love the Nine Gates because that's all. Yeah. But he also made me a hardcover of one of the Sutter Kane novels from John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness.
Uh-huh.
And it comes, not only does it come with the book and the cover and everything, but it comes with you cut the paperback covers apart and you put the covers together to make the map that takes you to Hobbs End. So not only did he send me the hardcover book, but he sent me that, that too.
Yeah.
I mean, he should be working for, I mean, not every movie needs a book prop, but he literally should be working for motion pictures and TV because his work is incredible. It's just incredible. Well, and it's his mind, like the stuff that he thinks up to make.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, that I discovered him because I'm like, you mean somebody loves the Ninth Gate as much as me and made a prop Nine Gates book from it?
Come on. That's pretty cool.
It was the best. It was the best. Cool.
So because who would think to do that?
That's the thing. It's the mindset that made you like, oh, I'm going to make this prop book. And not only did he make that prop book, he made all the different variations of it.
Yeah, that's what's cool. That's what I was just, and it was just as I got the member chat email, that just popped into my head. I go, that's what I'm going to ask Rob about because it's just something that I don't know. Sometimes I don't have things to think of. Weird things that just pop into my head out of nowhere. I can have a conversation with one of my friends, and then I don't know the answer at the moment, and then 5 days later, I'll be driving down the street, and it just pop. Oh, that's what I'm.
If you want to get one thing that everybody would like, his Misty Mountains map. It's just one piece of paper. The way he weathered it and stuff, it's a perfect thing to get framed on the wall. You can put it up, and then you can buy. He sent me a pen that has a black light thing. And what's astonishing, I've shown it on I don't have it within, I can't grab it. But it's when you put the black light on it and you see that he's got the runes, the Elvish language on the map or whatever, it's unbelievable. And it's always a cool thing to show people look at this, because that's how deep he goes into making these things. So Swag Props is the man. He's just the man.
Thanks to Esmal. Thank you for joining us. By the way, Rob, you know what I was looking at doing? I got a copy of that map from SWAC, and I wanted to get a black light built into the key of Durin, and just kind of hang it next to the map, and then so I got to figure out a way to 3D print the key and then build the black light in it.
Isn't that map amazing?
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
It's incredible. Did you frame it? Did you put it on a frame?
I have not framed it. I gotta frame it, but I still have it stored away because I just have not had the opportunity to put it up. But
it's so good.
It's great. Yeah.
It's so good.
By the way, Rob, a comment here that I wanted to share. I'm guessing you already know this because you have watched Picard several times. But did you know that the shuttle that docked with Beverly's ship was called the Savick?
I did, and everybody will know that. Well, I'm just gonna say you'll know that and see in the second episode.
Okay, then we'll better shut up. So
there is a let's just say you see the name.
There's a reference.
You see the name on the side of the shuttle.
Okay. Okay. By
Close
the way,
up.
Was there something off with the scale of the shuttle relative to Beverly's ship, or is there?
Well, they were talking about
weird.
that. Red Letter Media was talking about. Mike was talking about that. I've got to ask Terry about that. I didn't notice it. I mean, so Beverly and her son, they've been Doctors Without Borders for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And people are talking about that. I mean, I'd have to look again. It never really bothered me. It's a small ship.
Right. And it's just, I guess I'm used to seeing ships with the saucers and thinking that they're bigger, but I guess they're bigger, be smaller too, right? So
yeah. Also, they got Mike, let me just make a correction. Red Letter Media, LeVar Burton's daughter is not Sydney, is not the actress that plays Sydney LaForge.
Okay.
We have not met LeVar Burton's daughter in the show yet. We will meet her later.
In a later episode. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All the way from New Zealand, RRT is here. Let me go ahead and ask him to join us. Welcome.
Morning.
What's up, man?
Oh, not much.
Kia ora, mate.
Kia ora. I mean, New Zealand, we're recovering from some extreme weather recently. There's a lot of damage in Auckland. Not so much here in Wellington, but yeah, it's been some rather extreme weather down here.
You can't flood Wellington because everything runs downhill.
Well, you would think that, but yeah. Well, we've been very lucky. Auckland, not so lucky though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. I've two things to share with you today because I know time is very limited. And the first thing is have to reiterate what a dream it was to see you on a stream with Dave Cohen this week.
Oh my God.
Fantastic.
I when the drinker said come on with Dave Cullen, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It was because I love Dave Cullen's streams, and if you haven't been watching, he's been doing reviews of 70s dystopian films like Rollerball, Soylent Green, and Silent Running. I mean, all these movies that I grew up with, and it's great to see him do that. And I think his analysis of the films has been quite good. And I'm a big fan of his. He and I very much are very simpatico when it comes to Star Trek.
Well, hang on. I've put in a bunch of super chats over the past year suggesting that you and Dave could debate the best of Trek, because I suspect he is less of an original series fan than you. I think you would have some difference of opinion about that.
Well, he's younger than me. I'm the old man.
Yeah, but I think that would be a really good stream. If ever it happens, great. If not, well, but I hope you collaborate with Dave again.
I do too. I mean, I love Dave. As a matter of fact, I want to have him come on my Picard after show.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
The only problem is the time. If I do it at night, it's the middle of if I do it in our evening, it's still the middle of the night for him. So I'm going to try and figure out a way to have him come on the show.
Yeah. Now, the second thing, I wanted to take you for a trip. Oh, actually, it'll be a little bit of nostalgia for you, because you didn't do work on The Hobbit. You worked on Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Yes.
But I'll share these anyway, because I had a bit of a nostalgia moment this week. So I was going through my things and I found these. I'm going to hold this up. This is an envelope. Can you read the address on there, or is it reversed?
Oh, Stone Street Studios, 3'7" Limited. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Now, so you know Stone Street Studios.
Oh yeah. Now it got bigger, and it was different from when we were there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that whole I want to say where we were based, our offices were based up by the airport.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The Wellington Airport, and there was we were up there. That's where we did a lot of our interviews, and we had our offices up there. But then, Peter, all of that was in flux. The most insane thing was Weta Workshop and Weta Digital, and then the building on the corner where the screening room was.
Yeah.
And then you could walk to both. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to show you what came in those envelopes, because I've been looking for these for a while. I don't know if I'll try and get the light so you can see it.
Your tax invoice. Okay.
Yes.
Look at that.
Can you see where my finger is? Oh, hang on.
You were dwarf extra.
Dwarf extra. So these are all because in New Zealand, you cannot work in the film industry and be an employee. You have to be an independent contractor.
Yes.
So these are all my day contracts from my work as an extra.
Wow.
Because people give me shit all the time. you went in the Hobbit. And I was like, well, I can actually point to myself, and so I'll send you a link sometime. I can point to myself on screen. It was great. It was a fantastic experience, mostly because Andy Serkis was the director on G Stage.
Yeah, because he was doing second unit.
Yeah, what a guy. He was fantastic. He was a really nice guy. And he gave me direction for my one bit in the movie where I have to walk behind the main characters. It was, yeah. So that was a bit of nostalgia I thought I'd share with you.
Could you walk to work?
Oh, no. Well, I live in Pontyrook, right? So
okay.
I had to drive into town, get picked up by a shuttle in Kilbirnie, and then out to Miramar. So no, I couldn't. It would have been cool if I could, but
right.
Yeah. What was the other thing? So you've had this great stream with Dave Cullen. I have a suggestion for you, for someone you could collaborate with in future, or at least maybe it'd be great for you to connect with. And I'm sure you're aware of him. I mean, is Paul Chato.
Oh yeah. Well, we were on a stream the other night. We were on a Midnight's Edge stream. I love Paul, and we've been talking about that.
I'll go find it because please go on. That's great.
Oh no, I really like him a lot. I love when he goes back into the old TV guides.
Yes.
Because
yes, exactly.
I had all those. You know, when I was a kid, when my mother went to the grocery store, she went every Wednesday and would bring me back the TV guide. And I would religiously I read the TV guide back to front. And when I first got a VCR when I was 13, I used to go through with a fine-tooth comb all the late night programming to see if there were movies that I'd never seen that I could time shift, and I did. And whether it was sci-fi, horror, fantasy, and it was, those TV guides were like my Bible. And to see them, I remember like the fall preview issues, you'd look to see if there's at least one science fiction, fantasy, or horror show, or even something remotely science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Most of the time there was stuff like Manimal, and it wasn't good, but man, it's so great seeing him going back and reviewing or showing. I think he did 1982
too,
and it's like, here's Cheers and here's Saint Elsewhere, and it's great. I love it. They're one of my favorite videos.
So that I was well, great minds think alike, I guess. Well, fools seldom differ, but but no, that's me being the fool there. But that's fantastic. I'll have to watch the Midnight Edge stream to see you talk to Paul, because being of a similar sort of generation and perspective on North American television, you would have a lot to talk about. Especially, I mean, 1982 isn't just one of the greatest years in television; it's one of the greatest years in film.
Oh well, especially the genre film. I mean, in the same between May and July. It's Conan, The Road Warrior, Star Trek II and Poltergeist opened the same day. John Carpenter's The Thing and Blade Runner opened on the same day.
Yeah.
Tron, Megaforce,
E.T.
E.T. It was incredible. And all of those movies, all of them were classics. And it was like week after week after week after week. Conan the Barbarian was the movie my parents took me to for my birthday. Me and all my friends. It was awesome. It was great.
How did they get you in? Because it must have been R.
Yeah. Oh no, it was. My dad would buy the tickets. My favorite thing. My dad took me in '79. I think I was 12 when Dawn of the Dead opened. No one under 17 could see it. It's just said it wasn't a real rating, but they did that. Said no one under 17 admitted. And I went opening night. And because I'd won tickets from KYYX radio the night before, and my parents wouldn't take me on a school night. So it was Friday night. My dad would go to his office, and then I'd go see a movie, and he'd pick me up afterwards because I was so obsessed I wouldn't shut up otherwise. And he like walked up to the box office, and they're like saying, "Well, your son can't come in." And he was like, "Oh, his mom's already in there." Total lie. My dad, no, it's and then they would let me in. They reluctantly let me in, and I went in but my dad, he took me to see Phantasm, and sometimes he would come in. But I've told this story before, but when we went and saw Escape from New York, it was like me and 4 of my buddies. So there was like 5 of us, and my dad's like, "Escape from New York, what is this movie about?" And I said, "Well, Dad, the poster says it's and Escape from New York came out in 1981, and the poster said it's 1997. New York is a walled, maximum security prison. Breaking out is impossible. Breaking in is insane. And I told my dad that, and he's like, that sounds pretty good. Do you mind if I come in with you fellas? So he would come in, because it was rated R. And he watched it. My dad loved Escape from New York. He thought it was the greatest thing ever. So sometimes, like when he took me to see Phantasm, also in 79, in the first 5 minutes, there's a sex scene and the guy gets stabbed in the stomach, Tommy, and gets killed by the lady in lavender. And my dad's like, I'll be outside smoking my cigar, son, when you're done. And so he would leave because he didn't like violence, but he liked Escape from New York. So
thank you, RRT. Thank you for joining us. Rob, quick question from Bill Barclay is if you've had a chance to watch the 3 episodes of the Apple TV Plus series Hello Tomorrow, which is kind of a retro futuristic show.
Yeah, that's the one where Dr. Manhattan is trying to sell plots. I didn't realize it was streaming yet. I have not watched it. I'm dying to see it.
Apparently the first 3 episodes are out.
And also I think Sharper. There's a movie on Apple that Julianne Moore produced called Sharper that I'm dying to see. And then this new series Extrapolations, which I'm dying to see. So I've got some TV to catch up on.
It's like an anthology.
It's great because we have a new couch arriving for our media room. The final touches on our media room. The couch has to.
Nice.
Can't wait.
All right, we've got Sayan Haigiri. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. You should be able to unmute now, Sayan.
Yep, it's all good. How's it going, Rob? Nice to talk to you.
Good to see you, man. How are you? Where are you coming to us from?
Long Beach, actually. I'm down here in Long Beach, not too far.
So you're a local boy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually from the Bay Area, though. I moved here in 2019.
Oh, nice. I love Long Beach is great.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
I really like Long Beach, and they've got great conventions down there.
Yeah. I got to go to more of them. I know there was Complex Con or something like that. Yeah, I got to check out more things. I want to do more things. That's the whole reason I moved out here. I'm actually going to John's show on Sunday tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Yeah. I will not be there, but I'm sure it's going to be great. I think that's a new thing. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if that works out because, a company came to them and said, would you guys want to be interested in doing this? And they said, yeah. And I love Greg. Cool. I love Greg Alba. And obviously Christian I've known for years, and I love Christian too. I'm sure it'll be wildly entertaining.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because I remember when I bought my tickets 2 weeks ago, I knew it's going to be the weekend of Ant-Man and it was interesting to see okay, well, I'm sure the show is going to be dictated on how that conversation is going to go. And it seems like most of the people that are doing it didn't really like the movie, right? So I think that's going to be pretty interesting is hearing that whole conversation about what the things they didn't like, what is there to look forward to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would ask you then, considering that seems like phase 4 and the start of phase 5 have kind of been a minor disappointment or underwhelming per se, what's the next movie that you think could be a big bounce back? I know Secret Invasion you think could be a show bounce back, but movie wise.
Yeah, the thing about Secret Invasion, it's kind of hermetically sealed unto itself because it's about the Skrulls, so no one should really know about it anyway. So it doesn't, obviously we've seen in the trailer, it's very Nick Fury centric. It's very much, I said that it's a sequel to Captain Marvel in the sense that it deals with the Skrulls and Nick Fury and that relationship. Captain Marvel's not in it. And a lot of people misunderstood, but I was not clear what I was saying. But it's totally a Tom Clancy espionage techno thriller. It's great. I love the scripts. I thought it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but in terms of movies, I'm hoping that Captain America: New World Order is great. I think that's the one that I'm most interested in.
That's exactly what I was going to say. No joke. I feel like the fact that Harrison Ford is going to be in it is not being talked about a lot. And he's even talking about it too, and he seems kind of enthusiastic about it, which is awesome. It's Harrison Ford.
It's interesting. I never thought he should have stopped playing Jack Ryan. I know I think that some of all fears, because I was hoping that they would do the other Tom Clancy books, and if they had done Dead of Honor before 9/11, that would have been crazy. Because Tom Clancy at the end of Dead of Honor, which is basically about a second war with Japan, It's an economic war that turns into a shooting war. But at the end of Dead of Honor, the president is addressing Congress, and these Japanese terrorists crash an airliner into the Capitol building.
Wow.
While the president is giving this address, and it kills everybody.
That's crazy.
Jack Ryan is the last remaining, he's the highest ranking member of the government, so he gets sworn in as president of the United States.
Oh wow.
And that's the very end of Dead of Honor. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
And then the next book is Executive Orders, and it's about his presidency and how a lot of America's foreign enemies and domestic take advantage of the tumultuous nature of what's happened in the wake of that attack. And I'm like, I wanted to see that.
Yeah.
And so Air Force One is kind of the Tom Clancy movie where he's president that we never got. But I love the fact that he's going to play, because I would assume that the Captain America movies, especially Winter Soldier and whatever New World Order is, take many cues from Tom Clancy's novels.
Totally.
So I can't wait to see him as President Ross.
Yeah,
I love that.
If you didn't say that, that's actually the movie I was going to bring up as like the one I'm most excited for as well. I feel like that one is going to be awesome. I actually just this morning like watched a little bit of Winter Soldier just because I was trying to like get a feel of that, like, you know, phase 2 and 3 feel. And I just can't I can't help but think like the ending of that movie, Winter Soldier, is so awesome. How like Captain America's like looking at that file of Bucky, and then Sam's like, "Are you gonna go look after him?" And then Steve's like, "Yeah, but you don't have to join me." And Sam's like, "I know. When do we start?" Like, how do we go from that to like the ending in Quantumania? You know, like I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Well, no,
like,
but
you know what I mean?
that's where I think that you know, there was always the thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is it, even though it was crazy sci-fi superhero action, it was grounded in the real world. And I think that phase 4 has lost that, you know, and phase 5, I was hoping that Quantumania somehow brought it back, because, you know, we as superhero fans, and I have a theory, the Burnett axiom of superhero movies is that we as viewers want to believe that the superheroes that we're watching on camera are outside our window, that there's a possibility that we'll see Superman fly by. And when superhero movies stray too far into the realm of the fantastic, they become too untethered from reality, we kind of lose interest. And I would offer up Black Adam as an example of that. You know, that was too much of, it was like people called it, well, it's like a 90s sci-fi action superhero movies were not necessarily tethered to reality. And I think people, the MCU, beginning with Iron Man, you go back and you watch Iron Man, it's basically set in our world. I mean, sure, he's got a cool plane and supercars, and he's got this awesome mansion in Malibu, but for the most part, it's set in our world. You know, when it opens in Afghanistan, and he's taken captive in a cave or whatever, all of that's very believable. The problem now is it's so, like, even when you watch Infinity War, when you watch Infinity War, that opening scene where Ebony Maw and the Black Order or whatever come down,
awesome.
But it's still in the streets of New York. So you're watching this mayhem when Spider-Man he shows up in a park, you know, like Washington Square Park or whatever, and you watch it and you're like, then it gets nutty. But it's always grounded in the reality. When Spider-Man's on a school bus and he sees a spinning alien starship over in the distance, it's still New York. And the problem is, you know, when you're in the quantum realm, you're like, what is any of this? Like, the quantum realm should be a place that you go but come back from. But setting most of the movie in there, it's like, I don't relate to this anymore. So whatever's going on in the quantum realm is no longer based in my own reality. And I think the reason I enjoyed Shang-Chi so much is because the first half of that movie is in San Francisco. There's the first big action scenes, a fight scene on the bus, and the bus is also running down the hills in San Francisco, and it's, you know, you relate to it. And the same thing is true, I mean, this is now getting esoteric, but when you're making like the Fast and Furious franchise, what I loved about that franchise, I mean, look, it's cheesy B movie, it's not high art, but what was fun about it was we've all driven in cars. we all know what it's like to drive fast in cars, and we all know what it's like to drive fast in a city. Because you ever been in cars? I mean, have you ever driven 100 miles an hour through a city at 3 o'clock in the morning? It's pretty dope, and it's scary. It's scary. Well, like with Fast and Furious 9, there's no physics. It's completely untethered from reality. And I tuned out a Fiero going into space. I mean, it was so stupid. The whole movie, I don't care if the action scenes are great or not. The only way that action scenes really work, the only way that they're at all impactful, is if real physics, or if you have to have some kind of reality, even if you're bending the laws of physics, you still can tell. Like in Fast 5, which I think is a Citizen Kane of that franchise, I know that those two cars could not pull that vault behind them. Doesn't matter how no tires have enough traction to pull that thing. But that's the one ask that the movie makes. It's like, okay, we're going to make you believe that these two cars with nitrous in them or whatever are heavy enough to pull this vault. And I'm like, I buy into it. That's why I love Fast 5. When they steal the cars at the beginning and take them out of the train, none of that violated my sense of suspension of disbelief. Fast 9, nothing about that movie. There's no shred of reality in it. From the beginning opening chase in the jungle and then over the rope bridge and all this bullshit, I'm like, give me a break. And I couldn't buy into it. And that watching it was just this cacophony of ridiculous noise. And I love the Fast and Furious franchise. I hated Fast 9. I wanted to walk out because it was so annoying to watch these, Vin Diesel's pulling down like Samson in the temple, pulling down the roof of a stone building. I can't, you've wrecked it. Because the whole point of a car chase movie is that you have to believe that the car chase is real. That's why the Road Warrior is still 1981. It came out in 82 in the States. That's why the car chase still works. That's why George Miller's Fury Road works, because it's like, okay, even though there's computer assisted chase stuff now, it still feels real. And I hate it when it isn't. Quantum Mania, I'm like, I don't believe any of this. I'm watching all of this. It's all supposed to be really cool. I don't believe it. You go back and you watch the original Star Wars, the original, get the despecialized version, the Sans CG version. When you're on Tatooine, it's because they shot it in Tunisia. There's no blue screen backgrounds. There's no volume stages. I mean, it's all there. Mos Eisley is a shithole. It's like an East Texas horrible place, in the special edition, it's like, well, it's put CG Rontos and stuff's buzzing all over the place. It's no longer real. And it's really hard. Filmmakers have to be, James Cameron knows. I mean, even Aliens, that has very obvious model work and shots, and he knows how to shoot it where even like in Terminator, when there's a clear Arnold face puppet that's really does not stand the test of time well. But because of the way it's shot, that it's a puppet, but you still are willing to buy into it because Cameron makes you buy into it. And by the time you get to The Abyss, that guy, no one knows how to sell an audience. He's one of the greatest directors in the world, not because he's a great intellect. He's not Stanley Kubrick. He's not Michelangelo Antonioni. He's not Kurosawa. But as far as meat and potatoes, no one puts together a movie like James Cameron does. And that's why you love his stuff. You watch Way of Water, it's like, we're on the ocean of Pandora shooting this shit. And it's amazing. I believe it. I hope Fast 10 is better. I like the trailer. Please be good. Quantum Mania, I'm like, you have not made me believe in this quantum realm. The design of it all, they painted all of this. The design department made it look great, but when you watch it on camera, I'm like, I don't buy it.
Cyan, thank you so much. The other piece that's a problem for me, Rob, and I think we've been talking about this since No Way Home, is that they introduced the whole multiverse idea back in Loki. And to this day, none of these things, whether it was No Way Home or Multiverse of Madness of this, they don't seem to connect to one another. Like, we've been going now for like 2 years on this multiverse. When it was Infinity Stones, we knew exactly what was happening, even though it was a little bit at a time of Thanos kind of building up where he was going to. You knew right away here the kind of the buildup since Loki has been complete. Like, I don't know if what happened in Loki has anything to do with what happened in No Way Home, or with what anything to do with the multiverse or with the quantum verse. It's a complete disconnect.
Yeah, I and that's another problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it feels haphazard. Yeah. I always talk about on the channel about authorship. I'm always looking for authorship. I'm not getting that from phase 4 or now phase 5.
Yeah.
And also I think Kang, Jonathan Majors is great, but Kang might be too comic booky of a concept. So we'll see where it goes, but he's great. But the thing about Infinity War is even the way they played Thanos, you believe that he was real within the context of those movies. The way Josh Brolin played him, the way they animated Thanos, and when you went to Titan and that, it looked okay. It looks like an alien place. When you went to Xandar, when everyone's outside, they shot. That was a great thing that James Gunn did. They shot whatever mall they were shooting in or wherever. They shot it outside, so you believe that you were there. And it's a weird thing. That's why I'm the viceroy of verisimilitude. I need verisimilitude. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has abandoned it. Yeah. And I find it very difficult to buy back in.
Rob, we're about halfway through our questions. Do you need to take a break at this point? Are you good to do that? Or should we go with the next one? We're good? Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and have Doug Salier come in. Doug, you should be able to unmute now.
Hello?
What's up, dude?
Hey, okay, this is going to be a weird one, but
you're amongst friends.
Okay. I was watching Bride of Frankenstein. I get into these.
That's such a great movie too.
Yeah. I get into these weird rabbit holes, and basically I looked up the names of the miniatures that Dr. Pretorius had. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
He had all those little miniatures.
Yep.
So I looked them up. And Billy Barty was actually one as a baby, which was kind of weird to me. But anyways, I came across Josephine McKim. And if you look her up, she died in 1992. If you look her up, she it doesn't say actor, it says American swimmer. And she played the mermaid in as the little miniature mermaid. And
really?
Yeah, which I find really neat because she's won, I think she won 2 Olympic gold medals and 1 bronze in 1927 to 1932. This is all weird stuff. That's the kind of stuff I get into. Anyways, so I think it's really kind of cool that James Whale put her as the mermaid.
Right. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What's really kind of neat is, okay, so I would assume she was pretty famous for being a swimmer, right? And but in Tarzan and Her Mate in 1934 with Johnny Reismiller, who was also an Olympic swimmer in 1927, had Josephine McKim did the nude swim that I know this is really
the pre-code nude swim.
Pre-code nude swim, which is actually, if you watch it, it's awesome and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. But I just find that all fascinating. I don't know if anyone else does or not, but here's an American swimmer that's won gold medals, and now she's doing a nude swim that actually is deleted from the film. And then now, thank goodness, we got it back in the DVD copy. But I just find, you your celebrity winning gold medals, and then you go for a nude swim with Johnny Weissmuller, and then you end up in Bride of Frankenstein, one of the best sequels ever made, in my opinion.
Oh, I totally agree.
And
I love the Bride of Frankenstein.
And absolutely nobody nowadays, would have heard her. And I think she would have had an interesting story. I wish we could go back, how she made that decision, all that stuff really interests me. And it's like how you finish your show every time. Everyone has a story. You just have to listen. But I look for these stories, and I think it's a shame we'll never really hear it.
Well, I mean, if you think about that, extrapolate that about all the people human beings who've lived on the planet Earth, it's a shame if you, like, I've often wondered, what would human history have been like if we invented video equipment 2,000 years ago? Can you imagine if we had all the documentation that we have now? Instagram, what are you doing tonight? I'm going to the crucifixion. They're crucifying Jesus. And everybody brings their phones and Instagram feeds and YouTube videos and the pundits. I mean, I say that in a humorous fashion, but we've missed so much of human history and so much understanding. Yeah. It's too bad, but it's good that we have this stuff now that we can document all these things, and hopefully humans will benefit from it. In the long run, maybe. It's my hope that we will.
And I never hear that in the conversation when they talk about the best sequel or everything. They talk about Empire Strikes Back and Godfather 2, which I've never really liked. I've always loved the first one, but the second one I've never really liked. But nobody ever talks about the Bride of Frankenstein.
Well, I think it's because people forget, and you go back and you like the Thin Man series is a great series of films, and no one thinks about Bride of Frankenstein and how it plussed everything. And Bride of Frankenstein is way more James Whale than the first Frankenstein is. And James Whale was an incredible director, like Old Dark House, and I think it was Old Dark House he did, and he was incredible. And unfortunately, we don't. Again, I always say that pop culture has a half-life of 20 years. Right, you're going all the way back to the early 30s. And, people today won't even watch black and white movies. Yeah. As a movie pundit, it's frustrating to me because even though when I'm on the John Campea show, I know that if I dip any further back than Jaws, maybe Godfather, maybe early 70s, you leave the 70s and go back even further, no one's seen those movies. I mean, they might have seen Planet of the Apes or 2001 or something, or an occasional comedy, but most people, it's not even on their radar, and much less the 30s. And the 1940s was one of the great eras of American cinema. Nobody, when I say that Double Indemnity is this Star Wars of film noir, people look at me like I don't even know what you're talking about, and I'm like, that's because you've never seen Double Indemnity. You don't know anything about movies from this. And by the way, I don't mean to be critical because that's just life. Pop culture only matters to the people that are living through it. And what's interesting now, at least YouTube and all these reaction videos have given life, all different kinds, all walks of people are going back and delving into these things that they've never. It's amazing to me how many people have never heard and seen certain things. Because when I was a kid growing up in the 70s, you would listen to everything. I loved Glenn Miller. I was like, I love that because it was cinematic. My mom, after I listened to Star Wars, heard Star Wars, she had Beethoven records. I was like, Mom, is there music like Star Wars? And my mother had not touched her vinyl collection since I had been alive. She goes, well, my records are down in the family room. I'm like, what? I was listening to Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. I'm like, this is amazing. Where's the movie that this goes to? And my mom's like, I don't think there is one. And then I found, contraire, Beethoven's Seventh Symphony is used in a lot of movies. And, but that was, and I was a kid then. I don't know if anyone does that anymore, but it's too bad. But you're right. Bride of Frankenstein is definitely one of the greatest sequels ever made. 100%. Fucking love that movie.
Thank you, Doug. Rob.
And I have it in 4K.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Rob, we have Bill Barkley asked me to ask you if you saw the trailer for the Taron Egerton Tetris movie. He says,
yeah, we were talking about that on the John Campea show.
And he says that it was filmed near him at Prestwick Airport, one of the car chase scene that you see in the trailer.
I kind of want to see it. I was like, they're making it. I didn't realize it was about the making of Tetris.
Right.
Making of something is a subgenre of storytelling and movie making that I love. Like I love Tucker, A Man in His Dream. And anything where someone's trying to make something, most specifically movies like The Stuntman, Richard Rush's The Stuntman. But I love that. I love the Hudsucker Proxy, the Coen Brothers movie about the making of the
hula hoop.
What's it called?
It's for the kids.
Yeah, it's for the kids. I love that. I mean, anytime somebody's trying to make, one of my favorite things ever is episode 5 of From the Earth to the Moon. And it's the episode called Spider, where Grauman is making the lunar lander, the LEM, the Lunar Excursion Module. That episode makes me tear up every time when they talk about when they're sending the Eagle away to go land on the moon. I mean, and Matt Craven, the character actor Matt Craven, who for whatever reason, I love Matt Craven. I love Matt as an actor. I met him once at the Beverly Center. I walked up to him like, "You're Matt Craven." Must have thought I was insane. But I love that. I don't know why. I just love stories about people trying to make stuff. Greer, The Wrath of God. Let's pull a boat up.
Oh my gosh.
Fitzcarraldo.
I love
I meant
movie.
not Greer, The Wrath of God. I meant Fitzcarraldo. Let's pull this boat up through the mountains.
I love that movie.
Fitzcarraldo's so good.
Oh, so good. We got Glenmark coming in. So Glenmark, you are unmuted, so I'm going to add you right here. Welcome, Glenmark.
Thank you very much. Thank you. How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
Good. Thank you. So the second picture book was published just Monday gone.
All right. And how's that going?
Well, I've on the storyberries.com site, it's already had 9,956 reads.
That's crazy. That must be gratifying when you make stuff. I mean, you don't make stuff amazing, to not be seen. 9,000 people.
I know. Well, and the first one that was released November, mate, that's reached 53,719 reads. So,
I think it's time to lock up the rights so we can turn it into an animated series or something. Don't forget about your old friend Bob here in Hollywood. What's up?
There is verisimilitude. I make sure there's verisimilitude even in the picture book. Absolutely.
Lock you down, buddy.
So, Rob, you were showing your Bible the other night. I love the cover of that, by the way. It's a nice color.
I just had it. Oh, it's right here.
Yeah. I thought I'd show you mine too, and I'll tell you why I like it.
Yes, this is my Bible, my open study Bible. This was given to me. This is given to me by, it's the woman who gave this to me was an executive production manager at Warner Brothers. And I started going to church with her because I really liked this guy, Jack Hayford. He was the pastor at the church on the way.
Yep. No.
Jack, and so she gave me this Bible. She signed. She's passed away, but she was one of the producers when I want to say James Clavell who wrote the book Space, about the space program, and she produced it. So we became fast friends. I had a massive crush on her, but she was like 25 years older than me, and she used to be a phenomenal partier, Hollywood. I was very respectful, but yeah. So she gave this to me November 1990. And of course, it's like $100 Bible. And my name is embossed on the cover. I love this Bible, by the way. It's got all kinds of drawings and maps, and it's very, very cool.
So this one here is written by a guy called Selwyn Hughes and Trevor J. Partridge. And what I like about this, it's called Cover to Cover Complete. So what it is, it's through the Bible as it happens. So it goes through and tries to create a chronological order.
Oh, wow.
Of the Bible.
Okay.
Which I thought was quite fascinating. It's got great maps as well. So, for example, on page 1, you'd have John 1, John 1:1-2, and then it goes to Psalm 92.
Oh, wow.
And then
That's
Genesis
cool.
1:1, and then Isaiah 14:12-17, which is the whole thing about Satan being cast out of heaven. So, and it's quite interesting to read that as they've reconstructed it.
I mean, people are probably wondering, like, Bibles, what do you, I mean, look, I've always said that to understand Western literature, you have to know scripture, because so many stories are derived. Like, one of my dream projects is to make the ultimate movie about Job. Not like biblically accurate, but set it today, like now, you know, and or make it a cross between Job and C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters, with a smattering of Clive Barker's story, The Yattering and Jack, which is a riff on The Screwtape Letters, and I've always wanted to do that story, but Job is basically the start of that story, you know, and because
did you enjoy C.S. Lewis's Space trilogy?
Dude, that hit Paralandra, Out of the Silent Planet, Paralandra, and That Hideous Strength. Those books were wacky, but I loved them. I mean, it was so funny because I was, you know, we read Chronicles of Narnia when I was in elementary school. And then I found out C.S. Lewis wrote a science fiction trilogy. I'm like, oh, I got to get that. So my aunt, who would get me, I would always ask her to get me books, and she bought it. It was a slipcase version of all 3 books in paperback, and it was crazy. Like, it was hard for me. Those are really imaginative and wild. Those are wild books, but I highly recommend anybody. I mean, I don't know if you're a Chronicles of Narnia fan. I would definitely say, jump right in to C.S. Lewis's, because it's not that way. But if you're a science fiction fan, I mean, to me, that's part of the essential canon of science fiction. You know, starting in the 1920s on up, you have to really have read C.S. Lewis's trilogy.
And he wrote it as a bet, right, between him and Tolkien?
I read it. I had read The Hobbit. I'd read Hobbit and Lord of the Rings before I'd read the 7 Narnia books before I read the Space trilogy, because I didn't know about it. And I want to say that my aunt bought me the Silmarillion when it came out in hardcover. That was 1977. So I was 10. So I probably read the Space trilogy when I was like 12. I think I read it when I was in like 6th grade or 7th grade, if I remember.
Well, I've sent a couple of my recordings, so she can have a listen to those, and see if there is maybe some dark corner of Burnettwork we can probably pop it.
Yeah, well, we should do. Let's do more of that. That's what we're gonna do when we rebrand this whole channel, beginning April 1st. It's going to be. I'll just say it. I'm going to change the name of this channel from the Burnettwork to Imagination Connoisseurs Unlimited, which is the name of Mike Bodden and my company, and we're doing a number of projects under that banner. So it'll be Imagination Connoisseurs Unlimited, home of the post-geek singularity. And like we'll have the logos are being designed, but then Imagination Connoisseurs Unlimited is ICU. So it's not going to be ICU like Avatar, but yeah, so that's kind of what we're gonna do, because we have so many creators making shows for the channel, which is something I always wanted to do in the first place, you know, and hopefully we'll be able to expand the channel and get people paid and all that. So that's the plan, and that will start, and you'll start seeing lower thirds being standardized, and so the channel will have a brand, but it's going to be Imagination Connoisseurs Unlimited.
Well, I might have to show you this next time. I've got my first Kickstarter property that I supported a year and a half ago. I don't have time now to show you, but I'll just show you the cover of it. It's I don't know if I can.
Wow, is that what they sent you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It's a deck of worlds, and it's a system in which by cards you can structure loosely a story of fantasy or however you like it. And I had it all set out here to show you, but I'm not gonna have time now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Not your fault.
You know, I got my Prisoner. Somebody kickstarted action figures from The Prisoner, the TV series The Prisoner. They did such a great job. You can see one box set is up here. They're the best of all the whoever did. I don't know the guys behind it. They did such a good job. You know, I did it like 2 years ago, but it's awesome. There's some people making some great stuff on Kickstarter. But it's good to see you, man. Congratulations on your second book. And Kelvin, not Kevin, Kelvin, good to see you.
Yeah,
I owe you money.
Yeah, congratulations, Glenmark, on all those readings. That's awesome. We've got Tony Reyes coming up next. Tony, you should be able to unmute.
Hello, sir. What's going on, Mr. Robert?
Good to see you, man. How have you been?
Doing well, doing pretty good, man. Yeah, well, it's been a little wacky out here in Houston. One day it's raining, and then it's cold, and it's hot again. Yeah, there's a reason why Houston is called the armpit of Texas. So,
I like Houston. Come on, man. You got the Space Center there.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So, yeah, it's not too bad. A lot of one thing I like about Houston is the diversity. Man, food, the people, different cultures. It's great. Big melting pot. So.
And Zod's heard of it. That's General Zod.
Oh, Zod.
I know that was a if I had said General Zod, you would have got it. But yes, Zod.
Yes. So hey, how's your Andromeda build going, man?
Dude, okay. It's rough. So for those of you who don't know, I'm building a 4.5 foot model of the space battleship Andromeda. It's not that it's hard, it's just really complex, and it's all the fiber optic wiring it's just a monumental pain in the ass. I can't believe they figured out how to engineer this thing. And I was very surprised. A lot of it is die cast metal. So it's really, really heavy. And if I was a better modeler and had more patience, I'd be doing washes on it, and I would have. It's because it's die cast, you don't want to paint the whole thing. But I feel like I should do shading. I think I'm going to do a wash just to get a little of the deck lines. But it's so big. And it's funny because for those of you who don't know, there is a company called Hachette. It's a French publisher, but the Japanese arm, they publish Partworks. And Partworks are every week, they put out a magazine with instructions and then information about whatever it is you're building. And then they give you a collection of parts. And the Andromeda was 60 volumes. So it took 60 weeks to get all the parts. And then during the pandemic, they stopped production for a while, and then they had to make more. And I had to wait for 2 years to get all the parts in the first place. And they also did, before they did I didn't even know this existed. And they did an Yamato before they did the Andromeda in 2019. And the Andromeda started in 2021. Now I have the Yamato, but that's 120. There's motors in it. I can't even begin to fathom that. So the Andromeda was much easier. And I'm also getting the third one. I'm in the middle of getting the third one, which is a carrier and so these ships are all 350th scale. So the Andromeda is gigantic. And then the Yamato's a little smaller. And then the carrier is a little smaller than that, but it's all Earth, it's Earth Defense Federation stuff. Yeah. If you're a Star Blazers fan, these things are they're the coolest. Like I've built models of the Andromeda. I've had die cast Andromedas. I love the Andromeda. It's one of my favorite fictional spaceships. It's got the dual wave motion cannons, and Elizabeth just wants it out of the kitchen.
Wait, well, that's your mistake there, man. Don't leave it in the kitchen.
Well, the thing about the kitchen is it's the most brightly lit room in the house, and there's kind of to go out into the backyard, there's a little table off to the side where I'm building it so that it stays away from the kitchen. But Elizabeth has to look at the pieces. Like, she hasn't figured out that she's actually looking at the pieces for 2 model spaceships that are 350 scale. And nor is she going to figure this out until because the other one I don't have all the pieces for yet. It's going to take another year to get them all. So she doesn't quite understand that. She doesn't know what she's looking at. She just thinks that this model keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. She's like, how big is this? And the big thing is, where are you going to put it? And we have cabinets in the kitchen, and then there's space. So there's like a counter and cabinets, and it'll fit on its stand right underneath. It'll look dope in the kitchen. And it comes with a remote control, so you can light it. It lights up and has sound effects, and they wave. I'm just going to leave it in the kitchen.
That is awesome. Do it, man.
And not move it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to take pictures of it. I'll make videos of it. And I want to have Elizabeth go, when are you going to move this? I'm like, move what, baby? What? And on the other side is our media room. Wait till she sees when I bring the 1-to-1 scale alien bust, Pearl the alien.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to put it on the subwoofer, man.
Nice, man. Do it. I'm working on a Gundam F91 right now.
I love the F91.
Yeah.
What scale is it? Master grade?
Master grade, yeah. Yeah,
that is dope. Now, do you paint them all, or
some pieces?
Yeah.
I try to, because like this kit, now that I'm married, Rob, it takes me 4 months to build a kit.
Right. How does your wife feel about that? Like when you're
you want to ask her? She's right here.
Oh, okay. How many Gundam? Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so now I got to ask you, when your hubby here is working on a Gundam kit, does it bother you that he can sit there for hours on end and just not pay any attention to, and you're like going, are we gonna have dinner? Are we gonna do something? Because I get the whole, Elizabeth looks at me and she's like, I'd really like to watch the new episode of The Last of Us. Can we do that? And I'm like, oh baby, I need another hour and a half. Does that happen to you?
Sometimes, yeah, I do have to like pull him away from it a bit to like eat or remind him like it's time to do this or something. But I don't mind. He actually, I think he wants me to help him build it too.
Wow, you chose well, sir. Okay, then since you're here, since I got your wife here. First of all, what's your name?
Adonijah.
What a great name. Like that's Who Mourns for Adonais. There's an episode of Star Trek. Come on now. No, I got to ask you, what was the first movie the two of you saw together?
I think it was Encanto.
Watch Encanto.
That's a good movie to see. Where'd you guys meet?
It was during the pandemic through social media. And get this, Rob. She slipped into my DMs, bro.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. And you're married now. That's how long did you guys date before? Well, did you live in the same town?
No. Yeah, it was long distance relationship.
I'm from Kansas.
Wow. And where are you at now? Tony, I mean, where'd you grow up? Where were you at?
Dallas. I was in Dallas.
So you're in Kansas. So what was it like the first time you guys met? What happened? Who went where?
I flew out there first. It's a little scary at first, so but,
yeah, Kansas is terrifying.
Well, I told him, I was like, nobody really comes to Kansas to vacation. There's not like a lot of fun places you can go. I mean, there's Kansas City, but it's just kind of a lot of country and farm.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But yeah, we hit it off. We met, and the rest was history.
You must have been stoked when you met her. She's beautiful. You were like, yeah, all right, good job. Wait, well done, sir. And she let you build Gundam models.
Yes.
You win.
Can I say, man?
And she wants to help you build Gundam models. I mean, come on. I don't let Elizabeth touch. She's like, I'll help you do this. I'm like, no. But and she just gets terrified about how big it is. So
it's good to see you, Rob.
It's good to see you, and good to see you both. Congratulations. What a great story. You're like the poster children of imagination connoisseurs everywhere. Look at that. Fantastic. Love it.
The next generation.
Yeah.
Imagination connoisseurs, the next generation. Right.
How do you find a beautiful girl that wants to help you build Gundam models? Like where? Well, I you know what? When I was your age, Tony, I didn't have that. I didn't have we lost out. Us old geeks, we totally the geeks today, man. You guys have inherited the earth. Let me tell you.
Well, and wow. even if you could have had that, your dad would have cock blocked you. Is that how the story goes?
That's such a. I wish my dad was here to hear me tell that story because it's true. And now it's so funny because now my aunt's like 85.
Oh, that's great.
Probably love me to tell that story again.
All right, we got David coming up next. Here we go. Welcome, David.
How you doing? Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
What's going on, man?
Just a little tired. Otherwise, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
So I, again, like always, I have notes. So this time I thought I would try to keep it interesting. So I thought I would talk about how I think DC is now in a unique position due to what Marvel is doing specifically. I feel like Marvel's setting up DC. So first, before I get started with that, a side note, I'm about 2/3 of the way through Tar.
Oh, and
the movie, yeah. So I'm just up to the part where she can't find her assistant.
Okay.
I had no idea where this movie was going, and I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you think.
Yeah. But besides that, so I'm seeing Ant-Man tomorrow. I'm not so excited anymore, but I'm still gonna go see it.
No, you should be excited. I mean, look, it's fun to watch.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to go into it just with an open mind. I'm sure there's something I'll take away from it. But I'm thinking with what DC is doing, they could set themselves up as being not Marvel, because with the apparent miss of Ant-Man, with our Deadpool coming, and that's going to be pretty much the only rated R content they're really going to have. And then with losing Gunn after what I think will probably be a good swan song for the Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like they're going to bring in a lot of new demographics to want to see their movies, especially through Deadpool and Guardians. But then where are they going to go? So they're going to be able to see, okay, I want to see more mature content, because just like how someone mentioned before about the prequels, people grew up with the prequels. I know I did, and I loved them. People have grown up with Marvel now, and now it's more than 10 years. They want something more. So I feel like they're going to be able to capture like a new audience. And I feel like with the way that Warner, and especially through HBO, the way that they're set up specifically for like Game of Thrones and things like that, they're going to be able to have really good one-offs and one-off specials. They'll be able to take that from Marvel. And I couldn't get this out of my head. I kept thinking to myself, it would be amazing if somehow they did a one-off special where, almost like how they filmed Jaws, where you really didn't get to see Jaws until the shark until the end. They could somehow do that with Darkseid.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm really excited in the sense that they're going to design this thing. They've looked at Marvel. They've seen, they've got 14 years of Marvel, 15 years of Marvel now, to see what they should do and how to do it. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what James Gunn. I mean, they have a plan. Whether we like the plan or not, I like the fact they have a plan. And I don't think that James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to let us down. I'm just interested to see how it all plays out. More than anything else, I'm like, wow, I love the fact that somebody even has a plan, and that the studio has given him, David Zaslav has given them a mandate to do something. Because look, James Gunn is an old school fan from way back. It's like there are very few fans that I would say the difference between fandom and professionals. People are like, somebody they should put you in charge of Star Trek or something. The problem with that is I've never made television on a weekly basis. I don't know the first thing about keeping the trains running on a TV show. I would not be a good showrunner. I would be a good post-production supervisor and editor, and I would certainly love to weigh in on the scripts. But in terms of, I have no experience in TV. James Gunn has, he worked for Lloyd Kaufman at Troma in the 90s. He's worked in low budget. He proved himself. He made low budget movies like Slither and Super. And when he was because he worked and understood how movies are all made the same. It doesn't matter what budget level you're at. And he knew what to do. And that's why he was able to make Guardians 1, 2, and 3, and the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker TV series. So he understands how to work. And then Peter Safran's the money guy. And Peter Safran built the entire James Wan Conjuring franchise for Warner Brothers, and produced Shazam and produced Aquaman. So he gets it too. So the two of them together have the skill set, and they're not worried. See, the thing about Hollywood is everyone's worried about failing because they don't really know what they're doing. They don't know. Even the people that work at studios, they're all Ivy League educated business people. They've never made movies. They'll tell you they have because they've done it at the studio level. But in terms of conceiving a film, writing a script, breaking the script down, executing that script, and producing a film, they haven't done it. So everyone's scared. They don't know. James Gunn is not. Neither is Peter Safran. And they've been given the keys of this kingdom, and they're not afraid of losing because they can't lose. All they can do is win. So the upside for them is to be as creative as possible. They can hire anybody they want because they're going to hand pick who they want to work with. They're like, okay, you Ben Affleck. I think he's probably going to direct Brave and the Bold because he's wanted to. Ben Affleck is the man directed Argo that won Best Picture. The fact that he hasn't directed, I know his personal life or whatever. He made 4 films at Warner Brothers. 4. Even Live by Night, his last movie, is beautifully made.
I loved his Batman. Out of all of them so far, that one warehouse fight scene, that's my favorite Batman. That 5 minutes right there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so they've got access to all this. And the thing is, no one in Hollywood ever has had the freedom. I mean, James Cameron knows he's not going to fail. Steven Spielberg knows, but there are very few people that know that they're not going to fail. James Gunn and Peter Safran know they're not going to fail.
Do you think then that
at least making what they want to make, the things that they're going to make, they're going to be like, this is exactly what we wanted to make.
Right.
Because nobody wants.
Do you think?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say that's why I love Terry Metalis' Star Trek Picard season 3, because there was no one around that gave a fuck because Alex Kurtzman was off making Man Who Fell to Earth, and Akiva Goldsman went on to do Strange New Worlds. So they're like, here's the car, don't fuck it up. so Terry Metalis could go do with Star Trek Picard season 3 whatever he wanted, and he did, and he was fearless about it. And that's why I love the season so much, because he did what he wanted to do. And as you see it unfold, you'll be like, wow, he really got a lot of great stuff. But sorry, I talked a lot. So Roberto, give a little bit more time to David. Just a little.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think there's a slight delay. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say, do you think then that Warner then has they're in a better position because they don't have to worry about trying to hit their head on the ceiling that is the House of Mouse, having to make sure they keep that family-friendly atmosphere, where with Warner, if they want to go horror, if they want to go a darker story, but still keep like lighthearted with the new Superman, but they have access to stuff that Disney just is not allowed to go to by the shareholders.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And the thing about it is now there's this idea that comic book movies should be for kids. Warner Brothers already blew that up with Joker. And so they're going to go hard R. They're not going to make a hard R Superman movie. You're not going to see Superman flying through regiments of soldiers, blowing them up at super speed. You know, that's something Alan Moore would do in Miracle Man, but they're not going to do that. They're going to make a Superman movie that the entire family can go see. And, you know, as much as I like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, and I actually like those movies, and I recently watched Batman v Superman again, there is no joy in them. Those movies are Superman should have joy, you know, where he does things that are fun. I mean, you look at the scene in Donner's Superman where Superman shows up on the Lois Lane's roof. How she can afford that apartment, I don't know, but she's got this great roof. And you look at that scene is playful, it's fun, it puts a smile on your face, and that's what we need. You know, superheroes, the darkness of it, even Superman and Lois. Superman should be fun. It should be fun to be Superman. You watch, as much as I love Zack Snyder's Superman, I love Man of Steel. I love it as a science fiction first contact story. Jesus Christ, I want to take some ecstasy after I watch those movies to feel better. I mean, they are so, I mean, you look at them, they're not happy films. Batman v Superman ends with Doomsday killing Superman, and it's like, who thought that was a good idea? You know, it was a good idea at the time, but you got to make a Superman movie that leaves kids running out of the theater wanting to put red sheets around their necks and not jumping off buildings, but pretending they're Superman. I mean, and that's not to take. I like, and I even really like Zack Snyder's Justice League, but those movies, it's like, my God, man, where's the joy? Where's the joie de vivre? And I think that James Gunn has, if you look at what he's doing, the Authority is going to be the fucking hardcore, we will show up and fuck you up. And if you look at the Creature Commandos in World War II, I think I see the Gods and Monsters storyline. I think he's going to have this, our superheroes, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, will bring the light in our civilization that has been completely demoralized and joyless. At least that's kind of the way I see what they're doing. That's what I would assume.
Thank you, David.
I've been looking at Adam's wall. I can't wait to find out what's your wall is awesome. I haven't looked at all those, whatever all those pictures are.
Well, let's go ahead. Alan should be able to unmute now. Welcome, Adam.
This right here is the Wicker Man.
That's what I was going to say. I'm looking at this, the Stranglers, the band, the Wicker Man, right behind your yeah, and then you got the Star Trek, the Jose War of the Worlds. Is that War of the Worlds? Did you send that to like and have it printed? Is that like a Jaclay printed on canvas?
Yeah, I got it printed on canvas. Yeah,
that is so. War of the Worlds is my first favorite movie.
I love it, and yeah, it was. I guess. Well, you had that road trip with Robert over the summer. You guys were. And I really enjoyed listening to it. That was fun. And you focused on War of the Worlds, the special little dialogue, the little characters on the side, like the cop who picks up the when they're fishing.
Yeah, at the beginning.
It's like, hey, light? No, I'll smoke it later. Just little.
I mean, but that's why that movie, War of the Worlds, is still one of my favorite movies of all time. And in terms of it made me, until, for the longest time, that film, I couldn't, I mean, they killed a priest. I was like, what? They killed a priest. And it was, and the Wicker Man, so good.
I got to bring up the Wicker Man story for me, how I ended up finding it. Must have been 99. I was about 20. I didn't know about it at all. I was in Montreal and I went to Cinema du Parc. It's a movie theater there. And my French is so bad, I don't know the days. So I thought I was going to see Day of the Dead, but it was not Wednesday. It was, I don't know the days in French.
Was it for like Fantasia or something? Were you up there?
No, they just had, it's sort of an art house and they played some classics. So like, oh, Day of the Dead was yesterday. So, and the Wicker Man's playing tonight. No idea what it was. Walked in knowing nothing. And it was like, the best way to see it. Fantastic. So good.
It's so good. Kelvin, they released a great box set of the Wicker Man in Australia. That again, another disc I didn't.
I gotta I'll be right back. You gotta see this one.
And then you've got the Jose, the Star Trek posters. The city and the
book. But
those are great.
This is the old DVD.
Oh, I have that. That's the Anchor Bay. That is mine's in pieces because I dropped it when we were moving, and it all came apart. But I have all the pieces. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That Wicker Man box is so great, and that was the first time that they released the extended cut.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the new Blu-ray is nice too. It's cheap. It's got, I think, 3 versions on it.
Yep.
Looks great.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
It's funny because that movie is it's inspired so many different things, like the whammy ending and all that. Midsummer is basically a Wicker Man. It's almost a Wicker Man remake in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Neil LaBute was thinking. I don't know, man. With the Nicolas Cage version,
I couldn't even do it.
Yeah,
I know the bees. That's what they say. But
it's just. I mean, I like Neil LaBute, but I'm just perplexed by.
Well, I got to go back really quick. You guys brought up Superman, which is not what I wanted to talk about, but I see Superman and Star Trek kind of similarly. Like I think a healthy society needs a healthy Star Trek and a healthy Superman, a Superman that brings that joy, that is just exactly what the original Donner one did. And actually, I think the first season of Superman and Lois was surprisingly good. I was quite happy with that. And I don't know, I want truth, justice, and the that Superman thing, much like Star Trek, which I finally felt it again for the first time in.
Right. Oh, just you wait. By the end of episode 4, I mean, now that people have bought in, wait, you're going to feel things you haven't felt about Star Trek in a long time.
I believe it. I'm just a mere mortal, so I've only seen the first episode.
I love that you say that about you equate Superman and Star Trek, because in a way they're kind of the same in the sense of bringing optimism.
Be the
best you can be. And I've missed that, because I think, it's cynicism is so easy. It's so easy to be that way, and it's much more difficult to be aspirational. To me, the very idea of going out into the cosmos, like one of the things I hated about Star Trek Beyond is Kirk's like, I'm bored. What are we out here for? I don't know. I'm like, fuck off.
Oh my God.
What kind of Star Trek show is that where Kirk's bored? I don't know. I think I'm going to hang it up. I mean, I can't. The attitude that is pervasive in all of modern Star Trek up to, I think, this season of, and when you see where it goes, it takes you where you want Star Trek to take you.
There were 2 scenes that really sold me on it. One of them was just leaving space dock, the procedural, just that minute of, clear all moorings. Like, they're clearing the moorings.
Right.
I was just so happy, just competence. And
you felt that the bridge crew knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like they understand, they understand who's 3rd and 4th in command.
Yep. And the other one was Captain Shaw. He's a dick, but he's like a competent dick. And I was so happy when they had their stupid plan, we want to go to this thing. And I was like, oh, come on. And he just said, no. Like, yeah, exactly. No.
You're not going.
No,
by the way, first of all, I love Todd Stashwick as an actor. He's so good, and wait till you see where it goes, because he is going to definitely become a fan favorite character. He's so good. Stashwick is so good, and he's a nice guy. And by the way, he's a real imagination connoisseur. That guy, I mean, plays D&D, has classic Mego Star Trek figures. I mean, he's the real deal.
Nice. And one last thing, I just also got to say thank you to you and the whole. I just got through the 86th and final episode of the 101 Star Trek characters with you and the Trek experts. It was fantastic. Pass a big thank you on to the whole bunch, because it was so much fun, and it made me think about characters I hadn't really focused. And you never know where you're going to go when you start. You get some.
We didn't.
It's great.
And I'm glad to hear. So for those of you who don't know, the Inglorious Trek Experts, Adam is talking about our 101 greatest Star Trek characters. And we did, I think it's 10 episodes. Is the rebuttal this weekend? There's a rebuttal where we brought people on that had problems with our
Exactly.
Maybe it was last week.
My problem is no Galron. Where was Galron?
Dude, you know what? I talked about Gowron, and I love Gowron, and he should have been on the list. Yeah. He should have been on the list. I picked my runner-up was going to be Gowron or Admiral Nechayev, only because I think that seeing Admiral Nechayev and her adversarial relationship with Picard, and having a female person that outranked Picard and yet still prickly, I thought she was great. And Alina Nechayev is great, and I love Natalia Nogalich as a person. I ran into her once at Starbucks because I interviewed her when we did Chain of Command. When we were doing the special features, there's a single disc of just Chain of Command, and I was able to get her and interview her. And she comes out of Chicago theater and like David Mamet and all that, and she's amazing. And I loved her, and I was so happy to interview her. And she's great, and I loved her as Admiral Nechayev. Loved her. That's why she was my pick. But my other pick was Gowron, and Gowron should have been on that list. He really should have, because he made the transition between the shows. But I think we went with Martok instead. But oh well.
Thank you, Adam.
Good to see you, man.
Rob, did you see? I'm gonna spotlight this for you. Mikey's. Let me just click here. That's what Mikey has put up for you.
Where is this?
This is
Mikey Lito put this
Mikey Lito's background. He just left it there. I don't even know that he's actually on the call, but he's just put this there for you to look at.
Oh, he's got to send this to me. You know what? I'm going to take a frame grab of this right now in case I can't get it, because this is Mikey. I need you to send this to me. This is the greatest thing ever.
Wait, now I gotta get him off. Hold on, let me remove it.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, let me okay. I got it. That's fantastic.
All right. So hold on. Oh, I did it again. Hold on. Now I'm all messed up. Let me put you back on. There we go. And we'll take Mikey out. But yeah, there you have no. I keep hitting the wrong thing.
You've unmuted me, I think,
Roberto. What are you unmuted? You should be unmuted already, Kelvin. Are you?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
How are you, Rob, this morning?
I'm good. How are you? Don't worry, I've not forgotten about you. By the way, now that we've talked, can you find the Wicker Man too?
I probably could.
It's sold out. That I keep forgetting to try and get it. Every time I try and get it, it's sold out. They're killing it though. The transfers are pretty good on that set, by the way.
Yeah. Sorry?
The transfers are pretty good on that set.
Yes. I imagine they would have started. I've got so much going on. I had a great night last night because I went to I went and seen Cynthia Rothrock at the Astor Cinema. She was in person.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my God, Dieter Bastian's gonna go crazy when I tell him this.
I know. I got her to sign my right.
Oh, there we go. Wow, was she stoked that you had that version?
Yes, she was. She was such a lovely lady. I just was absolutely.
What did they show?
They showed Yes, Madam. But it was the older transfer from 2010, and the subtitling was a bit wonky.
Oh, well, that's okay.
And they had the mystery movie was Martial Law. I didn't stick around to see that. I was getting a bit late then.
Right, but still, she was there, and you met her.
I know. Oh, she was just lovely. I mean, got to compare.
I love that she would come to Australia and go to a film festival of her work.
Yeah, she did a tour of Sydney and I think Brisbane as well. So
that's so cool.
I loved it. It was just such a great night to speak to her and that. Yeah, I had a fantastic time. The other thing I was going to ask you, do you know, I said the words Picnic at Hanging Rock and Second Sight.
Oh man, that set looks great.
I'm glad that you know what the film is, because I've heard from on another show that they were like, "What is this? What is this movie?"
Oh my God! Are you know what? I saw Picnic at Hanging Rock when it first came out. I think it was like 9. Really? Yeah, and it was, and I have the Criterion, the big Criterion box set, which is great. I love that film. I mean, I think I've told the story before. When I was in the 8th grade and it came out on video, I took Peter Weir's The Last Wave, which is all about the Aboriginal Dreamtime. We were studying the Aboriginal Dreamtime in 8th grade anthropology. And I'm like, oh, you guys got to see this movie, The Last Wave. My class hated me. We watched it over 2 days. They hated the movie. They thought it was so boring. And they're like, why are you bringing this movie into us? And I'm like, this is Peter Weir's follow-up to Picnic at Hanging Rock. And they're like, we never wanted. I was so pissed. But the teacher loved it. She's like, well, Rob, it's good that you have this initiative and even knew what this movie was. And I'm like, Peter Weir made the cars that ate Paris, which, by the way, I have on DVD. I do not have. It's not. I don't. It's a very strange movie, but I have it. But I mean, Picnic at Hanging Rock is beautiful and it's haunting, and I love the fact that Second Sight's going to do it.
You've never been to the real location itself is so mysterious, man. It really is.
I've always wanted to go there. I never went there. I should have gone there. That's why I have to come back to Australia again. I have to figure out how to get on a project where they'll pay for me to go. like Superman. It was great. Superman's like, I didn't realize we had to pay every week. You know, rent has to be paid every week. And when we were living in Sydney, I'm like, every week. And fine, if the studio's going to pay for it, I'll do it. But it was great. It'd be funny because if I went back to Sydney on a project, I would go live in the same building I lived in. You know, it was right. It was 1 King's Cross. That was the building I lived at. So it was right across the street from the Coca-Cola sign. So you had Darlinghurst Road, and then you went into the Cross. It's the best place in the world to spend a year.
The Cross is a very special place of itself.
I've heard that they've taken away all the, like when I was there, you know, all the brothels, and we knew all the madams.
All cleaned up.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Yep.
They got rid of all of it.
I always remember being there about 1981 with my family, and a prostitute came up and propositioned my dad right in front of my mum.
Oh, when we were there, it was insanity. And when the Fifth Fleet would dock, you know, they would dock in Sydney Harbor, the 5,000 naval officers descended on the Cross. It was the greatest thing ever. Fantastic. I was glad in 2005 I got to live there for a year.
I've only ever visited Sydney once. How many times? Several times. It's never for more than like a week.
Sydney and Tamworth, as you know. Tamworth for almost a month.
Oh, Tamworth?
Yeah, we shot all the Smallville stuff there. So we were in Tamworth for almost a month. Then we shot outside of Tamworth. It was about 45 minutes outside of Tamworth, a place called Gunnedah Shire.
Yes, Gunnedah. Yes, it's called Gunnedah.
Gunnedah?
Gunnedah, yes. I know this because my dad comes from a little town north of Tamworth called Uralla, and so I know the area quite well.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, I love the town. It was.
Yeah, it is. You see why country music festival.
Yep. The giant guitar that's great.
Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I've sent you a picture of this. That's my background. It's the number 2 dome.
I was going to say it's Port Marion, right?
Yep. I want to talk briefly about that because you've got to go there, man, because I heard you haven't been there.
I have never been, and I got my prisoner figures, you know, from the Kickstarter campaign. Look, if I go to Germany in June for Tango Shalom, I have to look at what I want to do is travel around Europe and go to visit Imagination Connoisseurs and do live broadcasts. Like I want to go to England and get people like Dean Mikitich and get the lovely Emma Bannon and go to Port Marion. I mean,
you've got to stay there. I stayed there 2 nights. It's just walking around after 5 o'clock when everyone's gone home. It is a beautiful place.
Oh, I can't. I would go crazy. I have to go. I have to go. It's interesting because you see it with the background. You know that you don't normally see it with the background that you have there with the hills behind it. Because you know
this is my actual own photo. It's the photo.
Yeah,
I really like of all the ones I took. So yeah, that's fantastic. I love the place. I've been twice actually. I went back in 1994, and I should have went to the 6 of 1 convention, but my friend and his girlfriend had a fight, and so we didn't go.
The way it always goes. Damn it.
It is. Well, thanks, Rob.
Well, it's good to see you, man.
Thank you, Kelvin. Good to see you. All right. Oh, is it time for Tom? Tom Jr.
It's
Jackson
always time for Tom.
And I've been doing an Inception thing here because Tom's background is you, Rob.
It's so weird.
It's so weird to see the whole time, and it's like there's like fingers growing out of Tom's back or something. So welcome,
Jazz
Tom.
Hands. What's up, dude? Those book covers you made of my memoirs are hilarious.
Sorry, Tom. You should be able to unmute now.
Oh, there we go. Hey, background.
I love that background. It's a little creepy, but it's good.
Hey, look, you're gonna choke me.
I know. I don't. I would not choke you. I promise.
No. I know.
So how are things? What's going on?
I'm good. I got a few movies this week. I got Armageddon Time.
Oh yeah. You know what? I haven't seen that yet. How is it?
I haven't gotten around to it yet because I've been so obsessed with watching Columbo and The Twilight Zone.
Yep. Indeed.
But I did watch Fabelmans.
And
I really liked it.
Yeah, it's good.
Not only is it a love letter to his family, it's a love letter to films and filmmaking.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then I ended up getting the Lavender Hill Mob.
Oh wow, classic. Who
Yeah.
put that out? Who put that disc out?
Oh, your good friends at Kino Lorber.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. God bless him. God bless Kino Lorber.
And I got this movie called Christmas with the Camps.
Love it. I only got one disc this week.
It was written by Vince Vaughn and produced by him and Peter Billingsley.
Yeah. No,
And they call it a holiday romance movie where people actually say what they're thinking. It's like a Hallmark movie, but turned on its head where they're all swearing. I saw the trailer for it and I'm like, I need to see this movie.
Yeah.
This looks hilarious.
Yes, you do. Indeed. And it's funny because, I worked with Peter back in the day. I love Peter.
Yeah, you were mentioning that.
Yeah.
When I think doing one of our Zooms. As a matter of fact, it was funny because I was keeping in touch with Taylor last night while he was on the stream with you. And Taylor's like, I wish Rob could bring you on. And I said, I'm sorry, but Rob can only do threesomes.
Yeah.
For
Well, I'm going to change
and he
that.
lost it when I told him that.
I'm going to upgrade my software so I can bring on many people. So.
Yeah, he lost it when I told him that, but I'm trying to figure out something to do together on my channel or his channel, because we have a blast when we just start tweeting each other.
Oh, he's the best.
I'm telling you, if I would ever come out there, I would cause a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you would cause a lot of trouble.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. And then on yesterday, I went and saw Ant-Man.
What'd you think?
And I liked it. It felt like a 1950s sci-fi movie once it got into the quantum realm, but done as if it was done today. And I found that interesting. And then I started, when I was talking, I was thinking, I'd like to see that as I want to do a quantum show. And I want to see more of those characters.
Sure.
I want to see more into that world. I want to see that happen. But I like how it really did set up what's to come. And the fact of how he describes it at the end, like, is it my fault? Is this my fault this is going to happen? Nah. But it was done in such a way where I love what they brought in the welcome back song, and you see that thing where it's a San Francisco, the camera goes right to it and really quickly and then goes away from it.
Yep.
Like, oh look who it is, right, we're gonna get away from it. But it was like the best. It was one of my favorite things. And I love that song. And I love how they incorporate these old 70s songs into the movie.
Well, no, that was very cool.
I really like the dynamic. And I love the dynamic when they all found MODOK and then they figured out who he was and how confused they were. Like, oh, yeah, you look. But going into that, I knew that was going to be one of the toughest to put to live action, because how are you going to do that without it looking either dumb or really cheesy? And I think they did best they could.
Yeah, I just think that, you know, to me it's more of a color palette issue. You know, they've leaned into this very vibrant, colorful palette, and for me it's like, okay, it doesn't really occur in nature. I mean, it kind of I would have done it maybe differently, but they've leaned into that color palette throughout the.
But I think there were, it could have been quantum realm. But when they went to quantum realm, I was like, I could see where Doctor Strange could go into there. That's what I really wanted to see, was Doctor Strange show up in there at a point.
Yeah, I mean, I just
like that.
But they've kept like Dormammu.
The quantum realm, they could go anywhere.
But all the different realms have this same color palette to them, and you know they with, and I think they need to change it up more. Like going to see Dormammu doesn't look any different than going to the quantum realm, which doesn't look much different than, you know, going to see Wenwu or whatever. And I get it, I understand, but I do think I would like to see, or you know, the Guardians going to nowhere or whatever. There's a certain, I'd like to see them change it up a little bit more, but you know, we shall see.
I just wanted to say before Roberto cuts me off, we need to make plans on doing something on you and I getting together on my channel and doing an interview.
Oh yeah, whenever you want. Yeah.
I'll when you're not so busy, you know. But we'll try to get it going, because everybody asks me when is that going to happen. But
yeah, well, let's do it.
I'm trying to make it happen. Yeah, definitely.
Count me in. Put me in, coach.
All right.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks for all of your awesome work. I know that you've helped moderate some of the Que Pasa PGS shows once in a while, and I always forget to thank the moderator, so I really appreciate you helping out with that.
You got to learn to do that, man. Come on.
I know.
What's up?
I gotta. It's just not second nature anymore.
It will be.
All right. Rob, hold on a sec. Oh, I think Alon is trying to be sneaky, because not at all Alon Abadi is wanting to jump in once again. So let's see if this is.
Has he started playing with mid whatever the chat, whatever the AI is that he plays with? I bet he did something.
Or is he Is this a variant? This is a variant of Alon who's joining us.
Yeah. What's up, man? You're back. Oh, we can't hear you. He's got to. You have to be he has to be unmuted.
I did it. No, I don't need like 7 minutes. I just have one question. I was looking into getting my own copy of the specials, and I was wondering what's the difference between the specials and the specials special edition. What's so special about it, and should I order it instead of the specials?
Okay, here's the thing. To be honest, when the specials came out, it was not anamorphic. You know, the DVD, it was a DVD. I believe that what you want is the Blu-ray. And the Blu-ray, there's only one Blu-ray, and it came out from La La Land Records like 3 years ago.
But I don't have a Blu-ray.
You just have a DVD player? Yeah. To be honest, I don't know the difference between, because it was released in Europe. I would get the one that was released. You said there's one from 2005.
Mm-hmm.
I would get that one because I would assume that it's an anamorphic transfer, meaning
that's a special edition.
Yeah, I would get that, if only for the anamorphic transfer alone. Because when the specials on Free Enterprise were first put out, they weren't anamorphic. They weren't enhanced for widescreen. So the black bands in the top and bottom were part of the picture, and the transfers weren't as good.
Fantastic. All right. Have a great one. That's it.
All right, man. I guess that's the end, Roberto. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, I have too many mutes going on at the same time. I wanted to tell you last night, something happened during the conversation you were having in Midnight Musings, and somebody in the chat said something about writing a poem in Klingon. And so I asked Chat GPT to write a poem in Klingon about the Battle of Wolf 359, and but it doesn't make any sense. I had it translate because there's a Klingon to English translator, so I had it translated, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, you got to read it.
Well, let me go ahead and share it here, because what I can share the translation. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I've got it side by side here. So so it's Wolf 359, success honor, forehead partner, every 359 wolf me. I have the warriors drinking or son of a boy. Tomorrow's success is telling him. Today we laughed about this day, then heart is angry final. I'll have the Federation's language and does not wish to do it. Most of the vessel ships, the last warrior's final warrior. What cannot be identified, goodbye to the final. What can I do, or son of a beam? Tomorrow's success is nothing. Success is honor to work and begin. Forehead, partner, every 359 wolf me. I have the warriors drinking or son of a boy. Tomorrow's success is telling him.
Wow, that's worse than Vogon poetry. Wow.
So I don't know how accurate that is to Klingon poetry, but hey, we have one more hand raised. Do you want to take one more question from Jason Spriggs? Yep, let's go ahead and bring him in.
Of course. I will always take anything from Jason Spriggs.
And Jason, you should be able to unmute now.
Hey guys.
What up, dude?
How you doing, man? Long time no see.
Look at that. Yeah, it's been a long time. Look at that Blade Runner blaster. Come on, man. Great work, by the way. Great work on the lower thirds for Picard, the Picard show. Thank you for that.
You are very welcome. That was a quick turnaround, but it looked nice.
They look great.
Up the show, and we have more rebranding to do, don't we?
Yes, we do. Which is something I'm going to talk to you about. Yes, lots of. We need logos. The Imagination Connoisseurs Unlimited, and also ICU. And how do those work together? I don't know.
Okay. Are you around tomorrow?
Yeah. Yep. We do Let's Get Physical Media, and then in the morning, but yeah.
Just call me whenever it's good for you. I'll just be sitting here editing 5 projects ferociously. Because you know that bottleneck.
I know how that goes. Yes, I do.
Yes.
I love all the pistols in the background too.
This, we just moved. We talked about this the other day. We moved. So I had a lot of stuff in storage, still in boxes and whatnot. And one of the things I never displayed was the Sid Mead concept blaster.
That's so cool.
Which took, you're used to this because of the Hot Toys, but it took 2.5 years to get here.
Yeah. Wow. Where did you order that from?
Chronicle.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Okay.
But yeah, they're sold out there, but you can probably find them here and there.
Yeah.
Aftermarket, you know. So
that is very cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming out of boxes. And yeah, one of these days I'd like to show you the whole place. It's really quite a.
Well, that's one of the things I'm going to be the way I'm going to finally have this all set up so I can shoot from different places here in the Robservatory.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shoot over there for Let's Get Physical Media. It's going to be great. It'll be
When's
great.
that going to happen? That's a stupid question, isn't it?
By April 1st, everything's going to be changed over. So that's when we want to launch the rebranding is April 1st. Because we have I guess I could say it. We have another show coming from from the Designing Hollywood people that I'm very excited about. That it's not my show, but it's a show that'll be on the channel.
Did Designing Hollywood moved over to Campy's show?
Yes. Yes. But
Okay.
we'll see how long. I mean, I don't know if John wants to keep it on the channel, or I don't know. So yeah, all that would be coming.
Okay, well, good. Then I have more than 24 hours to do the branding for your show.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh no, not just for the show, the entire network.
For the network, I mean.
Yeah. The
right.
network, and it's a paid gig.
Well, we'll work something out.
Yeah, but it'll be ongoing too. It'll be good. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Ruby. Well, yeah. Just call me whenever you like tomorrow, and I didn't have a
Jason,
question or anything.
Jason,
Just
if
wanted to say
not,
hi to everybody.
Jason, if nothing else, Rob can always pay you in hot toys. Just remember that.
No, I can't.
I don't think he'd like that.
No.
Yeah.
No, Eagle transporters, maybe. No, I don't want to do that either.
I need an Eagle transporter because I always seem to, whenever 1612 was issuing a new thing, I was never on the ball enough. And I missed out on a lot of good stuff. And then,
they have the Swift. They have the Swift now. I got to get that. The Swift.
That, and I never got the stun gun and the comlink.
Yeah, I did.
Mr. Raygun needs that.
I didn't get that either, and I need to get those. But they can be found.
Yeah. They can be, but they're
yeah.
they're
Well, there's also
bonkers.
the model kit. There's a model kit. You know, they did round 2, did a model kit of it.
Yeah, I don't build model kits anymore. I don't have the patience.
Right. I'm just saying.
I used to do the let me see what we got here. This is the only resin example, but I used to get the resin kits from conventions, you know.
Yeah, that's the Colonial. Is that the Colonial Battlestar Galactica? Yeah.
It's just it's a resin. It's a resin one.
But that's really nice.
It is. Yeah, it needs a bit of love. There's lots of chips and stuff in it. But
yeah, but still,
the point is, that's how I get started with.
All
these
you have to
things.
do is dry brush silver on there, and it looks like metal. It just chips off the metal.
I have to. Yes, exactly. I haven't done that. I want to keep it kind of nice. I almost got Richard Hatch to sign it because I went to, what was it, Comic-Con 2015, which was the first time I've been back to Comic-Con since I worked for them in 1990. Right, boy, what a difference a couple of decades makes. And I was going to the Axonar. The Axonar panel. And Richard Hatch was there, and I was going to get him to sign it, but that I had to duck out early and go film Bob Layton at one of his panels, and then sadly Richard died, you know, so missed opportunity. But anyway, the point was, this is how I started collecting ray guns, was these old resin kits and painting them up and detailing them and stuff. And somewhere along the line, probably after I turned 50, I just had absolutely no patience for building and detailing, and I just no. And I think that's probably about the time I started collecting the old the actual toys.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, of course.
So model kits, they're out there, but I don't have the patience anymore. I just want the thing, you know. In this world of immediate gratification, it seems to have hit me. So
it's going to happen to all of us.
Yeah. And don't get me started on hot toys. I have an addictive personality as it is, so I don't need to get started with.
Well, and what you got to do, the real thing is when you realize you can't get them all, and you have to come to grips with that.
Yeah, well, I'm going through that with the ray gun thing, with 90 years of ray guns to buy. You know? But anyway, so Picard was good. You were right.
And it's going to get better and better as it goes. Wait do you see how it unfolds. And again, it's amazing. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I was just going to say it's a Tom Clancy-esque techno thriller, and it unfolds that way, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, and it actually unfolds with purpose.
And that's the thing.
Isn't it amazing when you actually preconceive a story, a narrative, and follow through on it. It's
Right.
amazing how good this can be. You know,
It's
What a
it's like what a novel approach.
a novel approach. Yes, yes, yes. By the way, I just put in the chat line that Klingon poem. I think Kurtzman probably wrote that. So anyway, I'm going to get back to the editing, and yeah, give me a ring tomorrow whenever it's good for you. I'll just be here plunking away. So
All right. Well, it's good to see you.
great. All right,
You did
guys.
a great. And by the way, the color palette and all that was so cool for the ones you did for Picard. I love that. Anyway,
That poem,
good to
yeah,
see you,
that,
man.
that poem sounded more like something that Darmok would have read instead of Klingons. I don't know what that was about.
Your hands
But,
outstretched.
Yes. Anyway, so
Well, I guess that brings us to the end, dude.
well then that means I get to try out another feature here is to try out my outgoing music while you send us off here. So let me go ahead and try that.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for, of course, being members of the channel, and we're going to have more member features and stuff happening, which I can talk more about later, but it's going to be cool. I mean, I'm really looking forward. I love all the new creators that are coming on board and the new shows that we're doing, and it's just going to be more cohesive. It's finally going to be a network.
Yeah.
And, we'll be sending out newsletters about the programming, and I love the fact, I mean, King Tannic is 20. I'm old, and we've got Spanish shows. We got all kind of. If I can get Mikey to do a show, come on,
Yeah,
Mikey.
come on, Mikey.
Got to do a show. We got to do a show, weekly show. I don't know what that's going to be.
It should be about movies that haven't come out yet, and you call the show.
Hey, wait, can you unmute Mikey?
Yeah. Let me pause the music. Let me get Mikey here. Hold on. Mikey, you should be able to unmute.
You want a show by an angry black man? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes, I do. You're an imagination connoisseur.
I am so diametrically opposed to everything that is going on right now. I'm thinking of bringing back the imagination contrarian.
Well, okay, that's the name of the show.
That's a title right there.
That's the show. The Imagination Contrarian.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Because I disagree with so much stuff that was going on. I thought Quantumania was fine just the way that it was. I didn't have any problem with it at all. Everybody, all the professional reviewers, including you,
I know.
complaining about it's not the same as the other two Ant-Man movies. Who
Well, I don't
cares?
mind that so much.
By the way, I put this in the chat. The quantum realm bears a striking resemblance to the TVA.
Yeah, I know. I know. It really does.
But then they
And
need to draw the
I think that's purposeful.
Yeah, because I think the TVA is in the quantum realm. 'Cause we don't-
The only problem that I had with Quantumania is I don't really understand where Kang got his powers from. If you
Yeah.
understand what I mean by that.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna have to find out.
And then I had a very long conversation with Louis Sparrow a couple of weeks ago on Discord
Star Trek?
no, Strange World.
Okay.
Disney Strange World.
Oh, okay.
Because all the anti-woke people attacked that, and it was a perfectly fine movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
So I'm wrestling with doctors, so I'm in a really bad mood.
Oh,
and
the Imagination Contrarian, man, that's a show.
I tell you,
Come on.
Mikey could be the Andy Rooney of the network.
Oh, come on. The Imagination, I love it.
Right? Like a little segment where he just kind of just does away with everything we've discussed during the week. He's just like, Rob was talking about this, and I think he's an idiot.
I would give you free reign so you can want to destroy me. I think that'd be to have a contrarian point of view on all this stuff would be great.
7 minutes is about my limit, Roberto, so you're probably right.
That's it. A 7-minute weekly segment on you just completely
Actually, if you
destroying. going.
make it 8 to 10, we could monetize it better.
There you go.
But we could do a great logo for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a great art.
It's just like today. I didn't really plan on saying anything today. And then as soon as you brought up To Live and Die in LA, I'm going like, is he kidding? These people promised us this film last summer, and now they're going like, oh, we're going to get it this summer? Yeah,
May 30th, buddy. Come on. And I got confirmation from Matt at Kino Lorber yesterday.
I feel the same way about them as I feel about you. You put up these broadcasts, and you're not getting a like until you actually come on screen. So you got all these people out there that, oh yeah, I like Rob's video and what have you. And then it's like, well, I'm not doing it tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. No. You get the like when you actually come on screen. That's
true.
So
it's true.
So it's just that I loved your discussion last night, which it turned into a music discussion. I thought it was like really great.
That was, you know, it's funny because I knew Lael, you know, as an audio engineer. I didn't realize the depth. I mean, I know he has a sneaker collection that I haven't seen. You know, I know he's got, but I love listening. I love listening to people who know their shit. You know, that was great. I'm gonna actually clip that out and put it up as because we don't talk about music on the channel enough. And I'm not,
and that's what made the discussion so great, because it was completely different from what you normally get from that show.
Yeah, and I loved it, and I'm going to clip it out and put it in its own thing now, because I think people will be interested. And Lael again, and she knows a lot about music as well, more than I do. I know a lot about. What's that?
Madam EDM.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another name for her I mean, she knows a lot about that era, that whole electronic music, electronic dance music and all that. So it was good. And that's another thing I would love to have. I mean, I'm not the guy to do it. I'd love to have a music show. You know, like I love Professor of Rock. It's been interesting to watch his meteoric rise on YouTube, but you know, because he was a pretty famous, well-known personality and rock critic where he's from originally. And I really like his show. He came out of the gate though. He was well funded. He had that great set, and it's been nice to watch his rise. I really like his videos. I really like Professor of Rock.
Yeah. So even though I haven't been around and what have you, I'm lurking constantly because.
Dude, the Imagination Contrarian. That's such a great idea. You come on, think about it. Like even if once a week, have Chat GPT write it for you.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
You can have Chat GPT write it for you. Just put in some ideas. I'm angry about this, and this. Please write me a 10-minute script.
Writing is the one thing I'm good at. Speaking extemporaneously is the thing that I have a problem with.
Well, no, but you should write. Okay, then write. It would be so cool to have you do the Imagination Contrarian. That would be something people would look forward to.
You think?
Hey, and
yes.
Alan already generated the image of the Imagination Contrarian. If you want me to share it right here,
let me take a look at this.
Yeah, but is it one of these? So I got a really interesting letter from somebody that wanted to remain anonymous, and the one where we had the Elon when he got the Imagination Connoisseurs letter, it was from a Chinese woman, an Asian. Well, I think she's Asian. I know she's Asian. I don't know if she's Chinese. And she said, you know what my problem with what Elon generated and what AI artwork is generating? It's not generating anybody of Asian descent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I think you'd have to prompt it, but she's not wrong.
Right.
And she wrote this great letter and asked me not to share it publicly, which is a bummer. I should have just done it, but I wouldn't have used her name and nobody would know. But she has a really good point to make.
And you, I think you know this already. That's been my problem, maybe for like the last 6 to 8 weeks, is that there's been so much nonsense going on in the real world that I can't really get caught up in the controversy and fandom.
Right.
So, a lot of times, like recently, I just think it's better for me to keep my mouth shut.
Well, I mean, but that's part of it too. I mean, you know, we live in a world where, look, I was married to a Ukrainian woman, and you know, Ukraine is one of the places where cinema came from, Sergei Eisenstein, Battleship Potemkin, the Odessa Steppes. This war in Ukraine, as it's past its 1-year anniversary, it's basically you have one country that is now just murdering a civilian population. That's all they're doing, is they're murdering innocent civilians. The Ukrainians have never tried to push into Russian territory, even though they've made some strikes, as well they should. I mean, I think they should do a Doolittle raid on Red Square. But to watch the kind of things that go on, then you have the Syrian earthquake that they weren't letting aid organizations come in to help people. I mean, the ridiculousness of all the animosity, our own government. I mean, it's nuts. And I can understand that, but you should write about that. That would be a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Imagination Contrarian.
I do need to write
with
more.
Mike Alito. That's a show, man. And Jason Spriggs will make you the coolest graphics for the Imagination Contrarian. Award-winning designer.
I see him there going like, thanks, give me more work.
Yeah, no, but he's great. The guy's too talented. We'll pay him. The Imagination Contrarian. Look, he's got to have his own Mr. Raygun show anyway, too. So where's that? He's the coffee table book. You can parse it out, do the show. It'd be cool to do a show about fictional ray guns. It doesn't have to be very long. You could pick one ray gun a show its whole lineage, who designed it. Like, well, here's what Hua Chang made. I mean, it would be great.
Yeah, and it could be it could be like a little interstitial that shows up in between episodes of longer things.
Yeah, that's true. And then you could put them together in one show.
Today in Ray Guns, and it could be like that, like the Writer's Almanac used to be on NPR. It could be, Today in Ray Guns. So. Anyway,
I love that idea.
I've sat here for 2 hours and now this phone is blowing up.
Oh, well, yes. But we should get off. I should let Roberto go.
Yeah, thank you, Mikey.
And I'm still Tony Reyes and his hot wife who likes Gundam models. I'm not past that yet either.
Hey, let me show you the images that came up. So this is the Imagination Contrarian let me go ahead and spotlight it. So there's hold on. There's the Imagination Contrarian as generated by AI. And then
wow.
With your suggestion, Elon wanted to do something a little bit more diverse with Imagination Connoisseur, and this is what it came up with. Can you see it on screen?
I just screwed up what I'm looking at.
So
no, I'm sure I'll be back in. Oh wow! Well, look at that! Look at that!
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Yep. So those are the two new renditions there from Elon. So, all right, I'll remove my spotlight now. Oh, and it put me on screen. So let me get you back on screen, Rob. There you are.
Well, hello. I'm back.
And so I think now we're ready to say farewell to everybody.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being members. Thanks for being here. I love these member chats. They're so much fun. And we have been getting a lot of new members that haven't been on the chats, but there's been a lot of people. People have been gifting members to other people. So it's great to have you guys do that. It's great to have
and I think you announced it last week that in physical media that we're at over 50,000 subscribers now.
Yep, we're like, yes, and we're heading to 51,000 subscribers, which is great.
Awesome.
So I think, we'll hopefully get a lot more people in as we do more shows and have more things happening. It's all good. Next week at this time, before this time, you'll have Que Pasa PGS.
That's right.
And I won't miss it this time.
Well, we might need to pre-record. I have a conflict on Saturday, so we might be pre-recording it ahead of time. So I'll let you know when we'll record it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll still broadcast it at the same time, but we're gonna have to pre-record. So we'll make it work.
Yes, we will do that. It's great. But thank you all. It was great to see all of you.
Yep.
And I guess that'll be it. That's the end of this member call.
Any other shows happening tonight, or is it going to be tomorrow for physical media?
No. I think I'm going to do a observations. I've got a lot of really interesting letters that I want to get through.
All right.
Some really interesting stuff. So, yeah.
Everybody be on the lookout for that. And then until next time, we'll see you, Rob.
All right. I will see everybody. Thank you, Roberto, for hosting once again.
Sure thing.